The thing about it,
Yes.
we knew that the winners were the African countries.
Right.
That story has been debunked completely.
True. Well, so
How did that thing go? The story where the president of the U.S. intervened
oh yeah,
on the red-carded forward of the U.S. team.
venye Balogun alipatiwa red card. He went on and he tagged Twitter, and not Twitter, FIFA. Kaambia FIFA, I'm giving you how long to review this case, and if you don't, we will kick you out. I was like, wait a minute. And he said, we have the stadia. We are the ones who are in charge here, not you. Oh, Trump ni mzee.
No. You tell me. When you look at human beings and the way we behave, at what stage of our development do people behave like that?
At what stage?
Yes, as we develop.
Tantrums, hizo si ni vitu za watoto.
Bas precisely. Bas ushamaliza hiyo story. Hii stadium ni yetu na inchi pia ni yetu. Na mkicheza tutawanyang'anya.
And imagine, imagine Balogun was cleared to
But
play.
I told you he was cleared.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at this. So Trump's intervention sparks World Cup storm as FIFA clears Balogun to face Belgium. This guy was red carded.
Red card means you miss the next game and the next.
Yes. So jamaa akapatiwa red card, Trump akakuja akasema, we will take away the state. We will kick you out. We are the ones in charge. Of course, I'm paraphrasing.
No,
then
you're not paraphrasing. You're actually getting to the heart of the matter.
So they're saying the United States World Cup campaign took an extraordinary turn on Sunday when FIFA made the unprecedented decision to suspend Folarian Balogun's automatic red card ban, clearing the striker to face Belgium in Monday's last 16 clash after U.S. President Donald Trump personally urged FIFA President Gianni Infantino to review the case. I don't know. As a player, I don't even think I would play. If I honestly deserved that red card, mimi mwenyewe ninaji red card tu.
Wachana, miss FIFA. Hii FIFA hii.
Compromised, eh?
Thoroughly.
It is what it is. Tupatie methali kabla tuingie kwa news.
I determined that this week we are going to look at proverbs from the continent. I decided I will not choose a specific country.
Right.
I will move from one place to the other.
Okay.
So that we can look at proverbs from the continent.
All right. Twende kazi.
Let me tell you, some of the proverbs that these Africans have are absolutely interesting.
Okay.
This one you will find interesting. It's a bit chauvinistic.
Yes.
In fact, it's a tad chauvinistic.
Yeah.
A poor man knows he is poor.
Who doesn't? If you're poor, you know you're poor.
No,
Okay.
Yeah, yes, you do. But a poor woman knows that she's just with the wrong man.
Oh, yes. Ayo nakubaliana nayo. 150%. No, ni kweli city. That one, I'll tell you for free. Do you know, it is gentlemen who are broke. Ladies are just with the wrong man. Because if you do not treat your woman right as far as money, where money is concerned, bro, dem anakuacha. Na atatafuta tu mwanaume mwingine mkiwa na yeye hapo tu mmeketi. Hapo tu mmeketi tu na yeye hapo, you think that you have someone, kumbe hash is just you're a stepping stone. She's looking for the next best man. Yeah. But you see, men, we don't have those options. I mean, there are those who have those options.
Which options are these that we don't have?
Za kutafuta mtu mwenye ako na pesa.
You are old, that's why you think that.
No, city.
Younger men.
Wanajua kujipanga, eh?
Not only...
Where do you think the term Ben 10 came from?
Yep.
Apart from the cartoon. I mean, Ben 10 is a cartoon character.
It took me time to understand it because I knew it was a cartoon character.
Yes.
Caricature and all that. But I knew of the term sugar daddy, sugar mommy. In my previous engagement with an alternate media house is when I came across the term Ben 10. Yes, nikaambiwa. Ujamani Ben 10. At first I thought they watch cartoons together.
No. Ukisikia huyu ni Ben 10 wa yule, wewe jua there is a relationship there.
I was told nichanuke na niwache ujinga. I was told.
So ulichanuka?
No, when I was, there are some gestures somebody makes and you understand it better than any words they could utter.
Yes. So you understood.
I said, sorry.
Now you get it.
Sorry, nearly get. Oh, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. So those young men,
Yes,
my friend, they are fearless.
they are. But women, regardless of the age, whether she's 18 or 80, my friend, kama una pesa atakuacha. All right, I like it. Thank you. Iseme tena, a poor man knows he's poor.
A poor man knows he is poor. But a poor woman knows she's just with the wrong man.
Bas. Mi nimeulizwa na dem in these streets of Nairobi. Sasa nikijinunulia, then kazi yako ni nini? If I can buy myself flowers, if I can buy myself a dress, if I can buy myself the shoe that I want, what is your work as the man? Niliulizwa swali city hii Nairobi hii.
You know, my friend, it's something that should concern you.
Yeah.
Because you are still in the game. And it is an appropriate question to ask. I am of the generation that took the leave from our parents, and we understood that wives, you are the one who marries the wife.
Yeah.
So it is your job to look after her.
Yes, it is.
It's not really complicated. No, not really. Yes.
Yeah.
But what one finds also, if you look after this woman you believe is yours or your own, or whom you have an understanding with, or she will look after you. It's reciprocal.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, people get surprised. You do all that and
Na bado naachwa.
wacha kuachwa. More is demanded.
Yeah.
And when it is not forthcoming, then that's where your kuachwa comes into being.
Of course.
Utashtuka wewe sasa.
We will call Dr. the psychologist we hosted here the other day.
Yes.
I think she's called Dr. Maureen. Ama haina Dr. nani?
She's
That
called,
one.
Yes.
Tutamleta atueleze hii psychology ya wanawake
I
ya
think
kutaka
we
pesa
should
hii.
bring her.
Hii kitu ya wanawake kutaka pesa.
Si ati wanataka pesa. It's no.
Walizaliwa aje wanawake wote, it's universal.
It is, but it isn't the money. It's what the money represents.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Because there are women,
Yeah.
and the number isn't small, who have men in their lives who don't amount to much materially. They may be really nice people, but the woman is the one who is actually the big earner. And they live happily.
No, wako tu sawa.
Oh, in fact,
They have kawaida relationship issues, but
they
money is not a problem in that
They're
relationship.
actually okay. Yes.
Sawa.
So,
DCI begins probe into brazen robbery at Westlands. So there's a story here by Samuel Otieno. I'm sure you've seen this video somewhere.
yep.
Detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations have launched investigations into a robbery with violence incident that occurred at a restaurant along General Mathenge Road in Nairobi's Westlands area on the night of July 4th, 2026. According to a statement by police, 4 armed suspects riding on 2 motorcycles struck the restaurant at about 10:40 p.m. after 2 of them entered the premises posing as customers. The gunmen, who were masked and armed with pistols, reportedly ordered patrons to surrender their valuables before stealing 7 mobile phones and an HP laptop in an operation that lasted less than a minute. Sasa say waliingia pale hivyo because I could see they were so casual about it. They took less than a minute, went in there, took the stuff and just left.
I think
Thankfully no one was hurt. Yeah.
it means it was well planned. Yes. Anything that works in that manner is not accidental. They planned it.
Yeah.
They had cased the place adequately, and they had figured this particular hour is when there's this type of person. They knew what they were doing, and they knew the sort of clientele that establishment has.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Hey, waliingia tu pale tu hua hua.
They have harmed no one.
Uh-huh.
What I'd like to know is whether the DCI has launched investigation into the thugs or who was behind the throwing of stones or that mayhem that occurred in Kisii,
Yeah.
where somebody has died as a result of it.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, there is a journalist who fell off a moving car. He went to hospital, but the injuries were severe. He died.
He succumbed, yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
What I'm wondering is the CS in charge of internal security keeps talking very loudly about what they're going to do. When do you think it is the appropriate time to take action? How many people do you need to die? How much property do you need to have damaged?
Yes.
What level of mayhem do you need to see for you to understand that you need to take action? I would have assumed that you nip this thing in the bud. You don't wait for it to even escalate.
Yes.
Yes.
It is what it is, man. And it's really bad that in 2026, we're still having such incidents.
The fear is if you're seeing this level of violence now.
Na tujafika ile mali wanaitanga rush hour.
What on earth are we going to see? See, that's the fear. And it's a genuine and it's an appropriate fear. It's an apprehension that is well justified.
I remember what the chairman of NCIC told us last week when we hosted him. He said they're going to call on these leaders, these politicians, to sign some kind of, memorandum saying that they are not going to cause mayhem. They will not fund political violence. They will not tolerate it, and they will shun it at every corner. And I can't wait to see if that is going to happen. And I really hope it happens. I hope that not only will they sign, but they will actually live up to the signatures that they appended on that particular document. Because it is one thing to sign for the sake of signing, uonekane umesign, useme, but mimi nilisign huko nikasema sitafanya violence, and then for us to hear that there's violence in your area.
I do know that there's a member of parliament for Kitutu
Masaba.
Chachi, I think.
Okay.
Who has been summoned.
Okay.
To explain, but this thing has to stop.
It has to. It has to. Like we politics cannot be violent.
No. This culture of so that we now get used to the idea that our politics is violent. No.
Tukikaribia uchaguzi tujuange tu vita watu watakufa.
Yeah, but
it shouldn't be normal.
Do you see what is now happening? Those who know that they've gone into the business of theft, thuggery, and mayhem, they're going to have a field day. And this didn't start yesterday. Remember last year when the president went to Westlands Primary School to do something or the other?
Okay.
There were these thugs who were waylaying people on the highway and robbing them. Because there will be, when you have the president visiting, vehicles tend to be stalled or they move slowly. They were robbing people.
That's bad.
I mean, what sort of guts is that?
Things are happening in this, and I'm not saying it's the government's makosa, ama it's their fault, but why are they happening in this Kenya Kwanza government time? In Ruto's first presidency.
The government, it is their... No.
Is that something that
is their duty to ensure
there's order?
Yeah. If there isn't order, this is one of those situations where the blame is theirs directly.
Because maybe ama zilikuwa zinafanyika wakati wa Uhuru na sikusikia ama sikujua, I don't know.
No, this level of goonism. No.
There's a time he was on Outer Ring Road as well. I can't remember where he was coming from or where he was headed. But after the function, when he left, people were being robbed again on Outer Ring Road.
Yes. When we had the ODM mandamanos, people used to be robbed as well.
Okay.
You'd find an entire shop has been ransacked. Yes.
Okay. Those times when Raila would call for mandamano.
There are those who are in the mandamano. There are those who are stealing.
Kuna watu wako what we call mboka.
Yes, wako job. Then there are those who, even as the convoy is moving, they are robbing vehicles. They're robbing people who are in vehicles. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, this is a situation that we're treating with kids' gloves, and it is not a pleasant thing. My friend, this thing will get to our doorsteps if it's not nipped in the bud.
Wakati we were burying Raila, and I remember I was when they brought his body to Nyayo Stadium.
Yes.
And I was driving home because I usually use that route.
Yes.
Hey, I met folks. Kama singekuwa nimefunga vyo na milango kuweka lock, bwana, those guys were attempted getting into my car several times.
Kweli?
Yes. Several times. And then they have blocked the road. So vehicles are moving slowly because you have got to give a certain tax for you to pass.
Tax?
Lazima utoe kitu ndio upite. Walikuwa wanasimamisha magari. So me, the only thing I did, niliteremsha tu kioo kidogo tu, nikawaambia wase sina. Adia lakini sisi nikamwambia kuna jani wadanganye sina. But they attempted to get in by force. They tried opening the back door as well, the boot. They tried opening this other side. They tried yani unapita pale hivyo, nilikuwa nasema tu Mungu pitisha hiyo gari ya mbele ipite, ikishatoka tu hivi mimi huyo nayo. But it was bad. Last story before we get into traffic. Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro announces exit from UDA. Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has announced his exit from the United Democratic Alliance, citing frustration and alienation. The lawmaker said he is consulting before revealing his next political move and insisted his decision will be guided by the interests of Kenyans. Speaking during a function in his constituency on Saturday, Nyoro said he was not prepared to make rushed political choices and indicated that consultations with leaders across different political camps were still ongoing. We another Jubilee. That's my prediction. He told supporters that his political decisions would not be driven by pressure from individuals or competing camps, saying his focus remained on the country's future direction. So I'll tell you what, wherever Dede Nyoro is going is also where his governor Irungu Kangata will be going. So wakiamua wanaweza enda DCP, wanaweza pia ingia Jubilee, ama wanaweza tengeneza muungano yao.
There's DP.
Kuna Democratic Party.
There's the Liberal Democratic Party.
Lakini hile ina make sense bro, acha nikwambie. Hile ina make sense kwa sasa. Ni waende Jubilee ama waende DCP, na sana wanaweza enda Jubilee. Lakini sitashtuka kuwaona DCP waseme tumekuja kusikiza ground, so that they can also start making rounds across the country. And DCP has been very active as far as that is concerned. Jubilee wametulia. To be honest, Jubilee wametulia. Mi hata hii kitu ya Olkalao sijui plan yao ni gani. I know we asked their deputy party leader here, that is Honorable Joseph, and he said several things, but I don't know, man. These guys, I don't think they're serious about this seat. Anyway, that's just me. But tutaona. Wewe unaona ni kama anaenda mahali? Ulisema wewe uko kwa kazi ya prediction, eh?
No.
Prophecy.
Political prophecy.
Hiyo ndio haufanyagi.
No. The thing is, I don't see why I should bother my head when I can just wait and see. Yes. So I just need to wait and I'll see.
Yeah.
Because what is certain is that those who are going to vote are not these people telling us what will happen. It's the citizens of Olkalao.
Yes.
And they will decide. If they haven't already decided whom they're voting for, I believe they know who they want to vote in.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yes. But I also know that the government is going to have a very strong showing.
Yes.
Yes.
You mean UDA?
Yes.
Right.
But
ndio government.
So, since I know that, I want to see how this is going to pan out.
Sawa. Let's check out the traffic as far as your counties of Nairobi and Mombasa are concerned. Traffic. So, Ngong Road, not looking bad at all. You see that place where they did that construction? That bridge that cost 3.8 billion. 3.5. Okay. That 3 billion bridge, hakuna traffic hata kidogo.
Junction.
Hiyo kitu imesaidia. Kama kuna kitu ilifanya, because I remember back in the day before they opened it up, every time I'd look at this place,
that place was horrible, man.
Ilikuwa inakaa tu red.
Watch hivyo. Even this one at T-Mall, my friend, before they put that slight overpass.
Yes.
Oh, man. The jam.
It was bad. It was horrible.
It would extend to Nyayo Stadium regularly. Regularly.
Now, the place where there's traffic, so Ngong Road, yote iko sawa. The place where I can see a little bit of traffic, and I guess it's because maybe there's some construction here, ni Kenyatta Avenue. You see from Sarova Pan-Africa Hotel, heading all the way to Uhuru Highway.
You know why that is there?
That construction.
Yes, forget the construction.
What are they constructing there?
If you had something, I think probably similar, or maybe they want maybe they want to connect to the expressway.
I doubt, but anyway.
You see, this one I can prophesy because I can ask and I will be told what's happening. Okay. But if you're coming from town, around about GPO, you're coming up now.
Yes.
They don't allow vehicles to go directly up to Pan-Africa.
Right.
No, they've blocked it.
Okay.
If you're coming from the upper hillside, okay, you can turn and go up.
Okay.
But from GPO roundabout,
hautapanda juu.
No.
Okay.
Okay. So there will be a jam.
Okay. ndio maana basi kuna kaa hivyo. So but the CBD right now is not looking bad. If I can just go to Mombasa County, kumeshikamana kidogo. No, kuja kushikamana pole. Mombasa County is actually looking clean right now. Ni kama watu hajamka. Only that place we call Lights Kengeleni, but today it's just a yellow line, which means that you guys are actually moving. If you see something you need to know about, well, you know where to find us. You can find us at Radio Gen KE across all our social media spaces. Tell us where you are stuck so that we can let the rest of the country know. Ndio pia hao wasishikamane kule. Ya ile traffic nyingine naona tu ni kidogo pale kutoka Utalii Hotel heading into Pangani. Si mnajua inakuanga hivyo kawaida. All right, let's get into the newspaper review. All right, if we look at the gossip section, the Nairobian, love, lies and loot inside 89 million shillings heartbreak from honeymoon to hell is what they're calling it. For years, Kenya's coast has been sold as a paradise for romance, retirement and new beginnings. But behind the beaches and sunsets lies a growing trail of shattered hearts, multi-million shilling property battles and bitter court cases as a string of foreigners claim they were lured into relationship that ended in financial ruin, violence and betrayal. We've seen this happening a lot to coast. You know, when wazungu wanakuja wanajitokeza wanasema, oh, this woman, this woman, that.
It didn't start yesterday.
It's been there for a while, eh?
Decades.
Enemy within. Mike Sonko kicks up a hornet's nest in his party. That story is on page 6. Death, fame, and the witchcraft whispers. Ndiema's demise revives or Hangla's Juju debate. Okay, that story is on page 7. Flagged down while leaders banned Somali clan flags in Isili. Yeah, I saw this one and I think it's a good idea. Hiyo kitu bwana inaleta tu strife bure. Let them celebrate with their national flag if they really need to have flags up there. A dose of death, fake Viagra and HIV test kits flood Kenyan markets. We mentioned this and I was really appalled. I was like, why are we having fake? Because it's HIV. Why, man?
Are we having what?
Fake HIV drugs. All right, Daily Nation, front page. Revealed private firm pocketing billions. History ienda mahali. Questions have arisen over the role of a private company, that is FinSprint, in processing social health authority payments to hospitals. While a private consortium led by Safaricom in partnership with Convergence Network Solutions and Apeiro Limited is publicly acknowledged as the driver of the 104 shillings billion digital system, it has emerged that FinSprint also plays a role, one for which the firm reportedly retains 2% of the value of the claims. What's not happening, man? SHA ni kama ilirogwa.
Kwa nini?
Na NHIF pia, because every week there's a headline about SHA.
Yeah.
Mara hospitals have not been paid. Yep. Oh, Mara SHA is not working. Oh, Mara night is working, but someone else is also benefiting from it. Oh, Mara there's some 50 billion missing somewhere. Oh, Mara it's 11 billion. Like, what on earth is going on? Police target MP over deadly Kisii gun violence. This is what you were talking about, eh? Nyaribari Chache, hii ndio ulikuwa unasema. Nyaribari Chache MP Zahir Janda has been summoned by police to record a statement following Friday's violence at Keumbu in Kisii, where goons attacked a convoy of Linda Mwananchi leaders, leaving one person dead. Police say at least 7 suspects have been arrested over the chaos, which sparked public outrage. This story is on page 5. Vincent Osiemo, alias Mapinduzi, a member of the Linda Mwananchi media team, fell from a speeding vehicle at Keumbu when goons pelted the convoy with stones. He succumbed to his injuries yesterday morning. It's really sad. Genesis of 3 billion shillings land deal haunting Matiang'i. A land subdivision plan drawn up in the early 1980s lay dormant for more than 3 decades before erupting into a scandal that continues to haunt Dr. Fred Matiang'i. Now this story is on page 6. Hapa ndio mtu anaulizanga, ile wakati alikuwa kwa serikali na alikuwa kwa serikali miaka 10, angesort hii kitu. Anyway, that one is on page 6. Inside operation to rescue Kenyans from South Africa. You will read that on page 2 as well. The Standard front page. Broad-based family is what they are calling it. And they have drawn them here. An obituary has cast fresh light on the remarkable reach of Speaker Moses Wetangula's political and family network across government. What began as a tribute to a respected Bungoma matriarch quickly ignited a national conversation after it revealed the sheer number of close and extended relatives occupying senior public offices. The disclosures have fueled fresh questions about political patronage, regional equity, and whether access to Kenya's most influential positions increasingly depends on family and political connections. So here they are. Let me just wacha niwaseme. So we have Speaker Moses Wetangula in the middle. Then hapo juu tuko na Dr. Christanstas Wamalwa, who is the National Standard Council chairman, ambaye ni cousin wa mheshimiwa. And then kuna cousin yake mwingine anaitwa Harriet Chigai, presidential advisor. Alafu kuna brother yake ambaye ni mheshimiwa Tim Wanyonyi, huyo tunamjua.
That guy had to get elected.
Yes.
So hakuna kitu amepewa.
Huyo aliitisha akapewa.
Yes.
Right.
So that one, I don't know why they put that man there, but anyway, carry on.
Yeah. Alafu pia watu wa Westlands, they like this guy. Otherwise they wouldn't have elected him.
Oh, this man is very liked.
Right.
In fact, there are those who are of the strong view that had it not been for this negotiated position of governor of Nairobi, he would have won that seat.
So here's another cousin. I didn't know about this one. Dr. Nancy Barasa, former chair at the GBV task force. Yeah?
Nancy Barasa was also the deputy CJ.
Yes, she was. Until that time when she lost her seat after you should know people.
Yes.
Kind of situation. Right, but yes, ni kazini yake. Alafu kuna niece wake anaitwa Dr. Deborah Barasa, who is the CS Environment. I didn't know this.
So she was the CS Health.
Yes. So Uncle Weta ni uncle yake.
But let me kuulize.
Uliza city.
This is the sign of a man who clearly looks after his relatives.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
So why is he being demonized?
Who? Wetangula.
Yes.
He's not, they're just saying, look, they've just pointed out.
They are not just saying.
City hawajasema ni kitu mbaya kukuana.
They are not just saying.
Can I finish?
Please.
Okay. There is Dr. John Chikati, ambaye ni Tongaren MP. Again, this one was elected. But yes, he is a cousin to Honorable Wetangula. Then we have PS Industry Ministry, Dr. Juma Muhwana, who is a cousin to Dr. Moses Wetangula. And then last but not least, we have Beverly Opora, Principal Administrative Secretary. Beverly Opora. We interviewed Beverly here. You remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beverly is the Principal Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Interior.
Oh, she was really very good.
Very good. Yeah, she had really good content. We engaged with her really well.
She was very good.
Sasa si umesikia broad-based family?
Bro.
Hata si wengi. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
If
and
you
then 9.
read the list on the obituary, there are many.
Oh, there are others who are not here.
I took time to read it. So I know. I don't know why it is this is making the headlines, unless they're saying this is a man who knows how to look after his relatives.
Yeah.
Okay? There are people who have more relatives than this man in the government.
Yeah.
Again, what are we saying? That they took jobs that other people should have taken?
Question is, are they qualified for their positions? Okay. And did they get them on merit? Then, if that's that, then it is that. For example, the two MPs, those ones were elected. Yeah. Yule daktari na ule MP. Hao walipigwa kura. Then, kuna CS. Kuna PS.
Kuna advisor.
Yeah, kuna advisor.
This hypocrisy of ours, we must put a cap on it. Okay?
Yes.
If the man has relatives who went to school, is it his fault?
It is not his fault. Hapa tunasoma tu madaktari.
And if he likes his relatives and is willing to help them, again, is it his fault? This man is a politician, for heaven's sake, and has been most of his adult life.
Yes.
Okay? How do you keep remaining relevant? Believe me, it is next to impossible to remain relevant in politics if people do not find you useful. And usefulness in the political realm in this country, this person gets people jobs. This person opens opportunities for people. You may not think much of it. This person attends funerals. This person attends weddings.
And you know, Kenyans are the same guys who, if they ever found out that maybe your people are wallowing in poverty, watasema yani speaker mzima na hata hizi saidia brother yake.
That is precisely the point.
Speaker mzima na hata hizi saidia niece wake anatembea patao na kuna PhD.
Now you've understood. That's why I said this hypocrisy of ours.
Tuache.
Forget it. Oh, you know, he has employed his cousin. So
there's a brother of former President Kibaki. Mahali kuna waliendo waka highlight story yake. The guy was living in what I would consider abject poverty.
Ano ile brother, ile nyumba. Kama ile ndio mahali alikuwa naishi.
Saizo the president is a sitting president. We're not even talking about a retired president. That time he was still.
You remember that story?
Yes, he was still a sitting president.
I held my head and said,
Kenyans were asking, yani seriously, a whole president who ni brother yake walitoka kwa tumbo moja.
No brother kabisa. Not cousin, brother. Brother.
Walitoka kwa tumbo moja. The guy lives like this surely. So
unajua,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Kama brother Weta has seen it fit to give his relatives a helping hand,
cousins, brothers,
so be it.
Nani mwingine? Nephews, nieces.
No. It is fine. It is fine.
So, over to you.
Oil marketers, we are in the business daily. Oil marketers face sanctions on South Sudan fuel deal breaches. South Sudan has flagged illegal shipments of fuel from the port of Mombasa as Kenya, the oil marketers bypass the country's government-to-government deal. Yani Wakenya wameamua kwamba wanataka tufanye mambo yao. They want to okay. The story on page 4.
Okay.
Guaranteed buyout for Absa owners capped at 10,000 shares. Absa Group of South Africa will accept all offers of 10,000 shares and below for each shareholder in its purchase of an additional 16.5% stake in Absa Bank Kenya, sparing small investors the pain of rejection in case of an oversubscription. Okay? Centum Mavida Plan Asset Back Securities, Centum Investment Company, and Me Vida Homes are racing to raise funds for the country's first real estate asset-backed security in the private sector.
When I used to work in TV, I went to those Mivida homes. Zile ziko pale behind Garden City Mall. Those houses are beautiful.
They do a fantastic job, these people.
And the construction,
Did you look at the finishings?
Yes.
Very good.
So we went to because we were using one of the show houses to do a show, one of the shows that we used to host there. And man, iyo nyumba, ukiingia, hutaki kutoka.
Roho itafurahi. Mfuko pia itafurahi.
Ukitoka na shida zako nyumbani ukuje hapo.
Utaziwacha hapo.
Yani hawajanilipa, wacha nisiongee sana.
Hapana. It is important to talk about good things.
Yeah.
Because it is. I have had occasion to interview some of these people, and if you listen to their thinking, the ethos of how they do their business, it is good. Yes, it is actually good. And the product that they produce is also really good quality. Yes. Okay. Kenya saves 22 billion after China SGR loan deal. What is this deal? Kenya cut annual repayments on Chinese loans by 21.6 billion in the financial year ending 2026. After restructuring standard gauge railway, kitu ni shida. Debts easing pressure on the exchequer as the country moved beyond the peak repayment period for the Beijing-funded infrastructure projects. Treasury data shows Kenya paid 107.4 billion to Chinese lenders in the year ended June 30th, 2026, down from 129.35 billion the year earlier. So, remember, we also had been targeting a restructuring of the loan so that we stop paying in dollars and we pay in yuan.
The one for the SGR.
Yeah, no, that's
zote zao. Zote.
I said, guys, I know we negotiated in dollars.
Yeah.
But you guys also have a currency.
Yes.
Can we not just agree?
Okay.
Now, I'm not certain as to how far that agreement
has
reached.
gone.
Yes, whether it was agreed upon and the dotted line was signed upon, I don't know.
Okay.
All right. 15 state firm CEO jobs at risk as shutdown mergers loom. What are we talking about?
15 of them.
Yes, kuna some state firms, 15 of them, CEOs
merge.
are about to spin. Okay?
They will just be given other positions in other places.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. Where?
Wale watakuwa wamekaribia retirement, they will be given early retirement.
Many of these people who get these jobs, these are political
appointments. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
And you may not need them in the next election.
No. Okay.
You may need other people.
All right.
Yes. So looking into the future, somebody will be given a job because they were useful, and then they get comfortable and they don't bother. And yet there's someone who's energetic elsewhere and is showing promise. Remove this person, put this other person, because clearly they can do something for you.
Watapatiwa board seats somewhere.
The jobs and perks of 15 chief executive officers of state corporations are on the line as the government rolls out the first phase of its plan to dissolve non-viable parastatals and merge agencies with overlapping functions. New bill tabled in Parliament by Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah seeks to dissolve 6 regional development authorities, triggering the redeployment of the chief executives to other government roles, as the Prophet Mbuvi has stated.
Right.
We will see. The agencies, yes, targeted for dissolution include Kerio Valley Development Authority, Lake Basin Development Authority, Tana and Athi River Development Authority, Ewasa Nyiro South River Basin Authority. Others are Ewasa Nyiro North, that was south, River Basin Authority, and Coast Development Authority. Sawa. The chief executives set to be affected by the resolutions are Moses Kipchumba, the Kerio Valley Development Authority, Wycliffe Ochianga, Lake Basin Development Authority, Liban Duba, Tarda, Tana, and Athi River Development Authority, Ngala Oloitiptip, Ali Hassan, and Mwanasiti Bendera, of course, Development Authority. Sawa. Hii tutaangalia vile itaenda. Sawa. Right. Let me look at the Star newspaper. Ruto dismisses Gachagua role in 2022 polls victory. Speaking yesterday at a service at a full gospel church in Gatunduri, Embu County, Ruto dismissed Gachagua's assertions, saying he personally campaigned across the region and earned the support of voters through his own efforts. We did see him campaigning.
We did. He's still campaigning.
Long before even the discussion of
running mate.
Yes, we saw him campaigning. So we've heard what he has said, but we have also heard what Gachagua has said.
Right. And we've also heard what other people have said.
Yeah, so we keep hearing.
You remember even DP leader, that is former AG bwana. Mbona anashindanga Justin Muturi.
It's called Justin.
Si alikuja akatuambia hapa bwana, jamaa alisaidia jamaa kupata hii kiti.
You know, we will just keep repeating and saying what we have been told. This one, I'm not analyzing.
Okay.
We saw him campaigning. We saw him appointing. Now the details of what really went on.
Okay.
So, court awards student 8 million for cop brutality. A student, this is Alan Omondi, a student at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, was accosted by 4 officers on November 11, 2019. Justice Patricia Nyaundi ruled evidence of the police brutality was indisputable.
Yeah.
So, he was beaten and detained by police, and the court has awarded him 8 million shillings in damages.
And what has IPOA done about it?
IPOA? About what?
About this police officer or police officers that were involved.
What were they supposed to do?
Okay.
They spoke about it at some point. But 2019 is a long time ago. It's 13 years ago.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, what messed up this policeman
yes.
was This thing was videotaped. Kulikuwa na video.
Kulikuwa na evidence yani.
Yes, there was.
Kwa kalatas.
There was.
Okay.
Workers, bang in the middle of the paper. Workers to get pay arrears for last 2 months. Employers feel pinch as 12% pay increase orders take effect. This is a story on page 4 and 5. It's an important story. I need to look at it. Laborers welcome pay rise orders as employers bemoan business costs. Every evening... forget the story. These guys are telling us stories. The new...
The new what?
The government cannot improve the lives of one group while making it harder for another to survive.
Okay.
So what are we talking about? Employers insist that they're waiting for the legal framework needed to affect new salaries.
The 12%.
They were not paying it.
Yeah.
Okay? Leaving workers wondering whether yet another labor day legislation would end without tangible change. The uncertainty came to an end last week as the government formally gazetted the regulation of wages, General Amendment Order 2026, through the legal notice number 108, June 26, giving legal force to the President's May 1st announcements. The new regulations requires employers across the country to raise the minimum wage by 12% and the agricultural minimum wage by 15%. Crucially, the changes take effect retrospectively from May 1st, from May 1st, meaning May, June, July. Okay? Right. The move marks Kenya's most significant statutory wage review in recent years and immediately shifts the debate from political promises to legal compliance. Sawa, Baba.
Sawa.
Is there anything else I've forgotten? No.
There's none.
I have not forgotten anything.
Acha nisalimie watu wawili watatu hapa as we get into the news. Louis Rudasingwa says good morning. Well, good morning Louis. Orash Boni, good morning CDCTCP na Mbuvi na Rende yote hapo. Ulita CT, sasa team zake zote zimeuma nje. Brazil being the latest kufunga virago. Sasa ata support the last African team France ama Rada.
If France are playing Morocco, I'm supporting Morocco.
Okay.
But
in case Morocco leaves, it's France.
It is France.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Kagema Udami says, morning, gents. It's been a minute. On the issue of insecurity, we are on our own. We have a CS and an Omu president who think that speaking loudly and in big voices against things will end them. Ole wetu. Akasema Mbuvi, they are happening in this government because that's what the people in it have always been including Omu president, who was part of gunnery in Kanu Young Turks days. All he knows is gunnery and disorder.
The president wasn't in the Young Turk. He was in the YK.
Yeah.
Yes.
But hiyo ndio according to him, the point is alikuanga kwa vijana. Biwot Boaz anasema good morning RG, tuned in, thank you. Then Kagema comes back. Mbuvi, you haven't gotten almost speakers kids who also work in big government positions, parastatals, parliament, president and deputy president office and kwingineko. Almost speaker amesaidia relaz, kwani iko nini? Kagema inafanyika. Chances are hata si tungekuanga hapo. Mimi utakaa hapo na unaona brother wako akiteseka.
You know, the relatives whom one doesn't look at are those who don't hold high positions.
Yes.
Na pia wanaajiriwa wengi.
Kennedy Musyoki andasoma ya Kennedy ngoja. Robert Mbogo amesema good morning from Mombasa. Good morning City and Movie. Good morning fellow patriots. Kennedy sasa ndio amesema good morning Movie and City. Kindly invite somebody from SACCOs to give us light on this issue of SACCOs lending money to government. Are they lending money to government? Yes. SACCOs. Wow. Okay. Danson says, the moment this government puts its hands in SACCOs, that will be the end. SACCOs are yet to recover the Cusco haste, then allow such. And Danson continues to say, government going for SACCOs funds is like parents stooping to the level of eating their baby's food. Okay. Danson. We invited the PS of MSMEs. That is Kilemi. Na tuliongea na yeye akatuambia a few things about SACCOs, but I think what we shall do is actually invite Sasra.
We shall. And the thing that you must understand,
yeah,
you lend to the government by buying their instruments. bonds, bills. Okay? You buy it.
Okay.
And you determine the length of time your money will be in those bonds or bills.
Okay.
And you are paid an interest. Okay?
Sawa.
Yes. So it is not...
So it's not like they walk into the circle and they say, now, we need a 1 billion loan. The circle...
No, because
it's the circle that buys the bonds.
That's how you lend to the government.
Okay.
Yes.
Ushasema.
Yes.
Right, let's get into the news with who? With Winnie Maganga.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. Health officials at Malaba Health Center and the border post have stepped up Ebola screening and emergency response measures after new outbreak was confirmed in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Malaba border, which is used daily by thousands of travelers from countries including Kenya, Uganda and other East African nations, is now under heightened surveillance. Port Health Officer Josephine Ogula said authorities have introduced stricter checks to help manage the large number of people crossing through the border and prevent the spread of the virus. ACK Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit has criticized the growing use of hired guns in politics, warning that it could push the country into disorder and violence. Speaking during the ordination of Baringo ACK Diocese Bishop Samuel Bunyata, Ole Sapit urged politicians to stop divisive politics and instead promote peace and unity.
Tunaomba culture ambayo tumeona hivi majuzi ya watu wanaitwa goons ikomeshwe, na hasa wale ambayo wanawatumia, kwa sababu hawa ni vijana wetu, wanataka opportunities in life, na opportunities in life haipatikani katika kufuruga mikutano ya wengine ama kufuruga makanisani, maana sasa wamefika makanisani, hata kwangu wamefika. Tunapoelekea katika hiyo uchaguzi, tuelekee kwa njia ambayo kila mmoja anasikiliza mwingine. Ushindani wa uongozi si lazima iwe kwa njia ya vita na furugu na chuki.
President William Ruto has warned leaders against using abusive language and tribal politics to divide Kenyans. Speaking during a church service in Embu County on Sunday, Ruto said the government will not allow ethnic politics to take root in the country. The president urged Kenyans to support leaders who focus on development and improving people's lives instead of spreading insults and division.
Makelele hii ni tumezoea makelele, lakini wananchi wanajua ni nani wa kufanya, ni nani wa kuongea. Sisi tutashirikiana na mimi nitasimama kidete. Siwezi kukubali siasa ya kugawanya Kenya kwa mambo ya ukabila na chuki na matusi. Hiyo haitawezekana. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Hiyo siwezi kubali. Na haitafanyika hii Kenya. Hakuna mtu atagawanya taifa letu la Kenya.
ODM leaders have criticized the Linda Mwananchi group linked to Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, accusing them of misleading Kenyans. The leaders, led by National Assembly Minority Leader Junet Mohammed and Energy CS Opiyo Wandayi, claimed the group is being used by former President Uhuru Kenyatta to create divisions within ODM.
Sasa wanajiita Linda Mwananchi, na hiyo ni Linda Uhuru Kenyatta. Hakuna mwananchi unalinda mtu mmoja peke yake. Unalinda mtu mmoja na mashamba yake, ndio unalinda na mali yake. Hakuna wananchi mnalinda. Na wewe Gachagua, wewe nani? Wewe nani? Wacha kutoa hizi vitisho baridi unatoa kila siku hapa Nairobi. Hapa Nairobi sio kwako bana. ODM itakuonyesha ya kwamba hapa Nairobi ni ODM.
Hundreds of firefighters are battling huge wildfires across Portugal, Spain, France and Greece, that have already destroyed more than 19,000 hectares of land. Authorities say temperatures are expected to rise again, with some areas forecast to hit 40 degrees Celsius following last week's severe heat wave. In southwestern France, about 10,500 people are being evacuated near the city of Perpignan as firefighters try to contain a fast-moving fire that has already burned more than 1,600 hectares. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast, curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Welcome back, 6 minutes past 7 o'clock. My name is Mungala Mbubi. This is the People's Breakfast on Radio Generation 88.8 FM. Mombasa, it's 90.7 FM and Garissa 89.5 FM. Nimeona watu wakisema online na tujafika Kakamega. Msichali Kakamega, tunakucha na watu wa Pongoma. Muendelee kutungoja, tutafika hapo haraka iwezekanavyo. Meanwhile, why don't you find us across all our social media spaces? We're currently live on YouTube as well, on X na Facebook. If you check out our pages, that is at Radio Generation Kenya, there we are live and you can watch us from anywhere in the world, including our website, that is www.radiogeneration.co.ke. In this particular hour, I want to focus on accountability, integrity, and the state of the nation. With us is he's a lawyer and also an MP aspirant for Dagoretti. Ni Dagoretti South, nashidanga ni Kisao, ni South, ni South, eh?
South.
Yeah.
Dagoretti ya South.
Yeah. Dagoretti South. That is none other than Fanya Mambo Kinothia. Fanya Mambo, good morning. How are you?
Very good morning to you.
Well,
happy to be here and thank you for having me.
leo unaenda kotini kwani?
Pana, leo tunaenda kwa ofisi.
Unaendaga hivi kufanya arbitration kwa hivi tu?
Yes, we take Radio Generation very seriously.
Yeah.
So tukiitwa tunavaa suti.
Asante sana.
It's a call up.
Wacha sitia kupatia methali then tuingie kwa conversation.
Safi.
Yes, this week we are going to take proverbs from across the African continent.
Yes.
I will not mention the specific places for this simple reason. I may not pick a proverb from one country and I'll be creating problems for myself because it'll be, why have you left us out?
Okay.
So it's just from the African continent. And I'm certain that anyone who comes from this continent will be able to find relevance with the proverbs.
Yes.
Okay? A poor man knows he is poor, but a poor woman thinks she's just with the wrong man.
A poor man knows he's poor and a poor woman thinks that she's just with the wrong man. That must be a Kenyan proverb. It happens a lot when you see some of them. Actually, I was told that the standard Kenyan lady sitting in a matatu thinks that everybody in that matatu is not in her class. That the person in her class is that guy passing in the Range Rover or the Prado
or the Mercedes
or the next big thing. It is a very interesting culture where men can marry down the chain. No, a man will go for a woman who used to sell mboga or works in a salon or in a kinyozi, and he's an advocate, he's a pharmacist, he's a doctor, he's a pilot. But rarely will a woman go down the ladder. They usually look up the ladder.
A woman rarely marries a boda guy.
They rarely do that. They usually go up.
Boda guys don't have wives.
They usually go up.
No,
the
they
ladder.
do. But that boda guy now will marry down the janitor.
Yes, they go down the ladder. They don't go up the ladder.
The two of you are classists.
Siti wewe enda utafute mtu wa boda mwenye amemari bank manager umlete hapa tufanye interview.
And sometimes what they do is that some of them had thought of marriage as a poverty eradication strategy.
Right.
So the minute you are not able to do that, then they blame you. And usually sometimes we tell them, so
it is what it is.
Let's not look at marriage and as a poverty reduction strategy paper.
But imagine fanya mambo, if that's what ladies do, man. Si hata wewe unajua. Many of the ladies will look at us as their way out of the ghetto.
So why is it, if we're to take that particular perspective,
Yes.
can we therefore assume that if I'm to go by Fanya Mambo's assertion that men tend to marry down?
Yes.
So what are you looking for? Are you looking for a servant, or are you looking for a slave? Or are you looking for a wife?
You're looking for someone who will give you peace of mind.
Sometimes even in going down, it's not even that you're looking for someone who will give you peace of mind.
Okay.
Most of the time is that men are compassionate. By the men are like, that's unakutata msichana akiwa ameharibikiwa na gari kwa barabara. The man will stop to help.
Yes.
But a lady is driving and then another lady is stranded on the road. She won't
Atamwacha.
stop to just ask by the way what's going down. So it's just our nature. We are hata kwa barabara, when you're driving, you'll give her a lift.
Yes.
It's very rare for a lady to stop and say, let me give the lady a lift, you know. So naturally that's who we are. If you go into a pub right now, you'll see a guy wearing a Man U t-shirt, and you're probably a Man U fan.
Yeah.
When you're
Mta
talking
connect.
pewa mbili.
Yeah.
I've never seen a lady saying patia ule msichana mbili.
Ule demu wa Chelsea ya mbili.
No. Or like even when we order meat, like I spend my weekends a lot in Dagoretti. On Saturday I was up at Dagoretti corner. I walk in and they say, "Mwesh, now mkono haraka. Lazima ukule na sisi nyama." That doesn't happen with ladies. At your lady says, "Oh, young girl, you've come in. We are eating. Join us." It doesn't happen.
Very true. I agree.
It doesn't happen.
I agree with you.
The two of you are male chauvinists.
Siti haelewi mambo.
You're just sharing the truth.
Siti haelewi mambo.
I accept. There are things I honestly don't understand.
All right.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Yes.
Accountability, integrity, and the state of the nation. Have you seen that? I'm sure you've seen, and you've heard President saying that Gachagua didn't really help him per se to get votes in 2022. He campaigned for himself, and we saw him campaign for himself. By the way, we saw him go around the country akiitisha kura, but amesema Karol ka Gachagua ni kama haka exist kwa hii mambo. What do you think?
Chura kavukishwa kadai amejivukisha. It happens all the time. I don't know whether you've heard the story of the frog and the scorpion.
I haven't.
I have.
There was this small patch of water, like a pond or something, where the scorpion could not cross.
Okay.
Those scorpions can't swim.
Yeah, and the scorpion came and told the frog, please help me get to that side.
All right.
And the frog told him, no, I know your nature as a scorpion. You always like to sting people. But the scorpion said, no, please help me get to the other side. So the frog told the scorpion, jump on top. And the frog helped the scorpion get to the other side of the marshy waters. And immediately they landed on dry water. The scorpion stung the frog. Tang! And then the frog asked, but you promised you're not going to do this. And you know it's poisonous, eh?
Yes.
The scorpion said, but that's my nature. Yeah. My nature is I sting people.
Yeah,
and
that's
I have
what I
stung
do,
you. That's what I have done. So William Ruto is that scorpion that will sting you once they get to the other side and tell you, by the way, I didn't need you. You're useless. You didn't get me anywhere. William Ruto needed every single vote he could get from anybody, including Wetangula and Mudavadi, and that's how he won by 200,000 votes. Kama ungeona ile kitu ilikuwa ina happen Bomas, it was a desperate scratch for every single figure, every single number that was needed there. Hiyo time hata ungekuwa MCA waambie Ruto kwa na 5,000 votes angekuhug. Hiyo time Bomas wakizitali. So when he comes to say he didn't need Rigathi Gachagua, he needed everybody. That guy at that point in time hata ungemwambia uko na kura moja na nusu angekukis. So when he comes and says he never did Rigathi Gachagua, it's a classic example of people who are ungrateful, people who don't see what you've done for them and how much you've done for them. Yeah.
And you know, even him saying that now towards what we are calling, you know, campaign period, I'm just asking myself, I thought maybe he would either avoid that conversation completely, because let's not forget, I still believe he's hunting for the mountain vote.
He spends a lot of time there. He keeps saying he doesn't need us, and then immediately he comes back to Meru, goes to Nyeri. He keeps wasting a lot of time there. Now he's giving mattresses in Olkalau. I have never seen such levels of desperation. Can you imagine? We are staring at us, and I challenge any Kenyan, walk into the nearest level 4 hospital.
Okay.
3 women are sharing a bed. Okay, and then the government is given branded mattresses written GOK to the people of Olkalau. There are so many mpaka
They were branded.
Yes, zimeandikwa GOK.
Zilikuwa za blue.
Yes,
but
zimeandikwa GOK. Shamelessly. This is an administration that should not be in office. Can you imagine?
Are there clips demonstrating this?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
you
have
can
them.
find them online,
I have
yeah.
them. In fact, I've shared with Edna this morning. Those mattresses are there. They are branded GOK. They are being given to the people of Olkalau. The people of Olkalau are being given blankets.
Oh my goodness, yes, they actually are branded government
Yes,
of Kenya.
and the people of Olkalau are being given blankets. So you're asking, in hospitals,
Are those also...
in hospitals, people don't
GOK?
even have bed sheets. People don't even have food. Kenyatta National Hospital, sometimes people are struggling to fix a meal. We are trying to sometimes look, mi napigiangwa na watu wa kwetu Dagoretti South, mtu amekwama, tunajaribu, tunamchangia, tunampelekea food kwa hospitali. Na wanapewa, giving people mattresses and blankets in Olkalau and tanks. I wish ungeona zile pickups zimepangwa, zimewekwa tank. Wanapelekewa
Water
tanks.
tanks.
Yes, water tanks.
Well, that's definitely a new level of
So
campaigning.
this is a stupid administration that thinks in a way that is not acceptable anywhere on the face of the planet.
Can I ask you a question, Fanya Mambo?
Yeah.
What if these tactics actually give them a win? What will you say?
You know, sometimes some victories are more expensive than losses. You know, it's called Pyrrhic victory. A victory that is too expensive. It is more expensive than even winning the war itself. You ask yourself, what is one MP seat that the government has to spend so much at the expense of everybody else? Mpaka wamekuja wamelaunch Nyandarua University, wanataka kuwajengea university. Wakaleta ka train kengine akana breaks kalikuwa kanaua watu huko. Wakaleta, yani they've concentrated everything in Nyandarua, like they're making other constituents wish their MPs died. Then all that kind of money would flow into their places. Because if that is what it takes for you to get government development, people will start killing their MPs. The MPs' lives are in danger right now. I dare submit, because people will be thinking, okay, if we kill ours and we have an Olkalau repeat here, then it's fair enough. Tutaletewa train, tutajengewa barabara. By the barabara sasa zinafunguliwa every day and night. Blankets zimemwagwa huko, mattresses there are so many mattresses mpaka wengine wanaekea ng'ombe. You know, they do a lot of good farming.
Yeah.
Ng'ombe
zinapatiwa mattresses zilale.
Ukipatiwa mattress 3 4 si unapatia ng'ombe zingine zinalalia. Na nika mattress kale ka 3 inch kama kale ka boarding school. It's a shame. It's a total shame.
Nani has also left UDA, Kiharu MP, Nyoro.
Yeah.
And he's not the first one. Irungu Kangata also declared that he's not going to seek re-election on a UDA ticket. Are we bound to see more exodus?
In fact, some of those who are there are the ones who at night have been looking for Rigathi Gachagua from the mountain. And he keeps saying it. Every day they are looking for him and they want to join DCP, but they are afraid. And I keep saying these are leaders without a spine. One of the first things I was discussing with constitutional lawyer friend of mine, Kibe Mongai, is how we can file a petition in court. And we want the court to make a declaration that it is illegal for an elected member of parliament to abstain from voting. So that we have members being forced to vote yes or vote no. You must have a spine. We cannot say, like Dende Nyoro, you wake up every day, you are backing, oh, problems, finance bill, a lot of economics, jaggerish. And then on the night, on the day when you are supposed to use your vote, you know, you can't come and tell people, bei ya unga imepanda, bei ya unga. Then we tell you now, today, here is the vote. Vote for or against bei ya unga. Then you run away. So on the day you're supposed to make a decision about Wanjiko, the person who woke up at 5 a.m. for you, conveniently, you are somewhere in London. Sisi tumeambia our MPs 187. And if you look at their characteristic, when Rigathi Gachagua was being impeached, the Dende Nyoros of this world abstained from voting. When Finance Bill 2024 was happening, they abstained from voting. When this other Finance Bill of 2025, 2026 was happening, they abstained from voting. So anything called voting, they are averse to it. I have news for you, Dende Nyoro, and those people who abstain from voting. On the 10th of August 2027, we have something called voting. Abstain from that one as well. Don't vote yes, don't vote yes. Don't even offer yourself. Because Kenyans have decided you have a problem with a process called voting. And anytime it's happening, you're not near it. The one happening on August, the 8th next year, also abstain from that one. Kenyans have made it very clear. There are 187 of them. Kenyans, the list was published. Tunawaomba, don't give a chance to any of them.
Yeah.
In fact, the men who voted yes are better, because then we know those ones are sleeping with the devil. The people who voted no are also good because we know they mean well for Kenyans. But the 187 who refused to vote should never be given a chance to go to parliament. Because what makes the difference between City and Dende Nyoro is that City does not have a vote in parliament, but Dende has a vote in parliament. So the person who does not means that their whole constituency. If I represent Dagoretti South and I refuse to vote, it means Dagoretti South had no say on the finance bill. Dagoretti South had no say on choosing whether we want the prices of commodities to go up or down. That is wrong. Yes, good as not going to parliament. And by the way, why did we pay you? Because if you can't vote, we didn't pay you to go and shout in parliament. Any person can make news about finance bill, but a member of parliament has got that power to vote. So any of the 187 who did not vote should not see parliament next year. Yeah.
By the way, I'm in agreement with Mheshimiwa.
Yeah.
I'm in full agreement because these are people who are not just abrogating duties, but they are telling us that the things that concern our lives the most are of no consequence to them. That they, by not participating in something as vital as voting on the finance bill, you have spoken very loudly. And it's important that we hear. While you and your friend Bwana Kibe are discussing these things, perhaps you need to also discuss how it is we can bring a bill that forces every Kenyan to register and to vote, so that voting becomes
mandatory.
It is mandatory. There's no I will think, I will not think. You have to. You have to. You have to. And we make it mandatory once you're a member of parliament.
Yeah.
Unless we can see you in the ICU tied to tubes. My friend, if you don't vote, then there are consequences.
It's an impeachable offense.
Yes, it is. Because this idea of giving free rein to people just doing whatever it is they see fit. Well, I didn't feel like it. I wasn't. The worst thing about the 187 is that they were in parliament when this thing was being discussed.
Yes, they were having tea outside.
Yes. When the time for voting came.
Yeah. I was actually told the bulk of them had been told to stay outside parliament and just watch, so that in case there's a need to tilt the numbers, then they would walk in and vote. And the bulk of them are from Mount Kenya. Watu wa kwetu mlima tulichagua kina nani yao. So nawaomba this time round.
Ati they were told to just
they were staying there. They were outside parliament. They were not far. Usidanganywa ati kuna mbunge hakuwa bunge. William Ruto had sworn finance bill is going to pass, but then he had spoken to these MPs from Mount Kenya who behave like that. He had told them, stay around. In case this no vote appears to be very strong, you must go in and vote. So they were praying that the no votes are not so many, so that they don't go in and vote, and so that it's not counted that they voted. But we are putting you on notice, you MPs, the abstaining MPs, that Kenyans have decided to abstain from voting for you because you hate something called voting in parliament.
Why specifically the ones from the mountain? What kind of conversation have they had?
See, the MPs from the mountain are very much afraid. The ground is hostile to them. They have been told, don't go and work with William Ruto.
Okay.
But they are very greedy. They want to eat from William Ruto and they want to be voted for by Mwananchi. I have seen them. Yani anataka ashinde na William Ruto, alafu akuje kwa Mwananchi. And I have been telling people, even in Dagoretti South where I come from, anakuja anasema, kuna kabarabara fulani kamefungulia. I tell them, okay, fine. Mtu ambaye hajaua watoto wetu anaweza kutujengea barabara. Yeah, they came near Lenana School here. They built a stretch of road, I think 600 meters. The billboard with the name of the MP is bigger than, the cost is bigger than the car road itself. And then you come and look at the road, 6 months down the line, it needs repair. It's completely done. It's bad. If you go, there's a stretch.
But yes,
there's a stretch from Ngong town that goes to Suswa. If you want to know how William Ruto works, go and look at that stretch. It's less than a year old. It is full of potholes.
It's from where to where?
From Ngong town, it goes to Suswa. Just take a ride. I tell Kenyans these things because they are true. Whereas most of the roads that were built under the Uhuru and the Kibaki regime are the roads that we are using even now. Even Dagoretti South, you can tell a road that was built under Kibaki and we see them. You can tell a road that was built under Uhuru and we see them. Hizi zimejengwa wakati wa UDA. 6 months down the line, hakuna barabara. So I keep telling Kenyans, let nobody come and lie to you at tumejenga barabara. Okay, people who build good roads can build for us roads in future, not these ones who build bad roads. People who have not killed our children can build roads for us. People who have not abducted our children can build roads for us. So that we are saying this administration must take a break. Usikuje kutuambia umefanya. Your development record is irrelevant. For us, human rights and the dignity of human life is more important than anything else you can ever do for us. But they don't kill us and then build road for us. We don't want. The fact that you've killed our children is good enough. You go home. And when people come and ask you what is your agenda as opposition, you tell them the first thing is we are not going to kill people. And then number 2, we are going to respect human life. And we are not going to abduct children. So if we can first not do those, it's not even about what we are going to do. It's what we are not going to do.
The government last week said that it has not been abducting people.
They've been abducting themselves. That's what KJ said. KJ went on national TV one time and said those people who were saying they've been abducted were found in their girlfriends' houses. It's on record.
Okay.
Him speaking verbatim on a national TV. That is the thinking of this administration.
He said this in parliament?
Yeah, no. Citizen TV.
Oh, okay.
And it's on record and the clip is there. Just search. KJ says people found themselves in their girlfriends' houses. It will give you. It's all over. It's not at the AI, nothing. That is the thinking of this administration. That anybody who found themselves abducted had taken himself to his girlfriend's. Kwa hivyo hata Albert Ojwang, I think the Nairobi police station ni in his girlfriend's house.
You know the problem with the rhetoric that the group referring to itself as the United Opposition have currently about what they will not do. It is the same narrative that UDA had. Same. Almost letter by letter. They said, with this government, there will be no, and they listed. Among the things was abductions, this extrajudicial killing. Walisema hakuna.
It won't happen again.
It will not happen again. They said, tukiingia, we are going to audit the debts of the country. And there's a whole list of things which they said. Unfortunately, if you were to look at that list, there are very many things in that list that, as we speak today, if it just that it wasn't done, then you'd say it hasn't been done. But they've gone against it. The very thing that they said.
No. Sometimes you look at who is saying. There are some things that if they are said by William Ruto, it doesn't mean them. Like machine ya chapati 1 million, gas ya 300. In fact, those who believed him are the ones who had a problem. I never believed him. But if they are said by somebody like Martha Karua, Justice Maraga, Sifuna,
at the time,
Fanya Mambo, we will do them.
Fanya Mambo, at the time William Ruto was saying this, all the things that we have talked about had not been spoken of or done. This was at the beginning.
No.
There was no track record of what he can do.
You're missing the point.
Please tell me the
this
point
is
I'm missing.
The William Ruto of 1992, Youth for KANU 1992. This is the William Ruto who came with Moi throughout, and they did the things that were atrocious in 1992. Just go and Google Youth for KANU 1992 and the amount of bloodshed that they meted upon this country. This is the William Ruto of, 1990 is the William Ruto of 2007. This is the William Ruto of that had to find himself in The Hague for reasons he knows better than all of us. Okay, so when he comes and makes promises to Kenyans, I told Kenyans, makosa yenyu hamukuangalia historia. There are certain things if Mother Karua tells you, you look at her history. And you'll tell this has been a firm iron lady who has said things and done them. And her track record is like this. If it was late Wangari Maathai making you a promise, you should listen. But I cannot come. I have been a carnivorous, I've been a lion, I've been eating antelopes all my life. And then I am telling you, when you vote for me, I'll become vegetarian. And then you believe me. I think Kenyans failed to look at the history of the people who made the promises. So the first thing is ask who is making the promise. It's not about the promise.
But so tell me.
And on this table for the first time now we have Fanya Mambo. We have Edwin Sifuna making the promise. We have Mother Karua. We have Justice Maraga. We have names that have got a better history in this country than those other terrible histories that you chose.
Actually, no. You see, the history of William Ruto, he was in YK, he was a member of parliament, he was a minister, he was an assistant minister. There's a history. Fanya Mambo is unproven. He is campaigning. Sifuna is a senator. He wants to be whatever it is. We will yet see what he will be able to do. Maraga was the Chief Justice. He's just entered the political arena. He is unproven in politics. Anybody who is unproven in politics and is aspiring can say the things they say. But until one has seen, this is me, until one has seen what it is that you can do, I wouldn't lay too much stock on.
I think what and I agree with Fanya Mambo here. He's talking about someone's character.
Yes.
For me, I'm looking at it as character. If CT tells me, makes a promise today, I have seen you fulfill your promises. I have seen you do certain things. So there are things you will say ndasema by the CT anaeza. But there are some things you might say na nipita kana nikuuliza, hey, are you sure? But if you are sure me, I'll be like, okay, fine.
Some of us may have been unproven in politics, but we've been around and we've been alive. And in the spaces we've been alive, people have seen us and they've known what we stand for. And they've seen our consistency and they believe in us. So I have been telling people, I may not be proven in politics, but I have done business. Have you had me doing wash? Have you seen me with criminal cases? I would have chosen that path. By now, ningekuwa nimekon watu hii Kilimani mzima. I would be having OBs at Kilimani police station and so on and so forth. And there are people of that kind who have been criminals, wash, story. The next thing you hear, he's vying for a seat and people vote for them. Some of these people who are bribing people in Kisii had come from some jails in Tanzania and other places. They were criminals.
Really?
Yes, countries had chosen them and they had said this is a criminal. And these people had to survive to be able to come back here. So now some of us do not have those records. So when we tell you that we have a record and we want to come and sanitize and clean the thing, and then I tell people, please don't judge me on the mistakes of your ex. If you want to marry me tomorrow, you can't just come and tell me, oh, you know my ex, I'm not your ex. Okay, there's a big difference between me and your ex. And please don't heap the mistakes of your ex on me. I am this new guy who wants to love you. If you had been loved badly, I am sorry.
Actually, we must. The reason why we must, since you've given that analogy, these are suitors, okay? They are wooing the voter, okay?
Yes.
And the rhetoric tends to be the same. If we look at the current MP for Dagoretti South, why was he a darling of the people?
No, he was a comedian. He entertained people.
Yes, he was a comedian. What did he represent the people of South Dagoretti South? Why did they elect him?
No, initially, let me tell you something, because I have lived there. This was 2017. They were trying to punish another member of parliament who had on the final year of his term he had returned all CDF money. Aliangalia Dagoretti akaona hakuna
kila kitu iko sawa.
Akarudisha CDF money for that year.
He returned all the CDF
One Dennis Wawero. He did. And I want him to come on this show aseme hakurudisha. Pesa ya 2017 venye ilipewa ya CDF. Aliangalia Dagoretti akaona hakuna shida. Dennis Wawero akarudisha treasury. So the people were so angry, and the only other alternative that had offered himself was KJ. So they said to vote, and then he called him Wakahare. Wakahare is like, when you try to demean someone and you say he's a very poor guy with nothing. So the people of Dagoretti South said, sasa huyo umeita Wakahare
ndio tutachagua.
But they were trying to punish who? Dennis Wawero Kariuki. So sometimes some of the leaders who find themselves in positions of leadership, it's not necessarily because of who they were or what they stood for. It's because of somebody else who did something and the voters want to teach you a lesson. So unfortunately, they taught him a lesson by choosing another guy who has now become atrocious.
Which means they taught him a lesson twice.
Yes. Now, the second time he came back, again, it was either the guy who returns money to CDF or this other one. And then there was a UDA wave, interestingly. So they said apana. Because kwetu, simi nilikuwa pande ya Azimio. Tukaambua tutazimia na hiyo Azimio. People just wanted this yellow fever. Now they hate it. Anyway, so they voted for the wheelbarrow and they regret it. But I think allow us also to have a conversation about what happened to Linda Mwananchi in Kisii. And I can see you have it right there.
Yes, I do.
Facing you. And what happened especially in Keumbu.
Okay.
When the Linda Mwananchi brigade was being stoned. I want to get into the mind of a Kenyan who lifts a stone and aims it at a Prado worth 8-9 million. Naye ana wheelbarrow. What goes on in the mind of such a human being? And then there was one gooness. I don't know if a man is a goon, so a woman is probably a gooness. There was a gooness in a red t-shirt. And she's one of those people who were involved in that skirmish.
Okay.
But the problem is not them. The problem is the 2-3 policemen who were caught on that video, actually coordinating them and showing them how to do it. You need to look at those clips. They are sad. And then Kipchumba Murkomen has been blaming Rigathi Gachagua for goons. Now Kipchumba Murkomen, sasa si yao ni Wakikuyu walienda Keumbu walikuwa naongea Kisii. I think walifanyishwa Kikuyu lessons the whole night. Wakafundishwa Kisii lessons the whole night. They learned how to speak Kisii. Wakafanya crash course in Kisii. Si yao ni Wakikuyu walikuwa narusha mawe Keumbu. You know, when Kipchumba Murkomen cannot explain.
Wait, are you actually saying ni Wasapere walikuwa narusha mawe huko?
What I'm saying
Ama you're being sarcastic.
Kipchumba Murkomen has been saying that ni Rigathi Gachagua ana sponsor goons.
Okay.
Na hii mambo ya goons kwa Mount Kenya.
Okay, I get the
So I want to answer to Rigathi to Kipchumba Murkomen and tell him.
Yes.
Basi hao Wakikuyu they are so brilliant. Walifundishwa crash course ya Kisii. Wakalan Kisii usiku haraka so that by morning they're able to throw stones and speak in Kisii and insult other people in Kisii language.
Wakire.
Wakire sijui what
Mbionde.
Mwana baba
Inju.
So they did all those things. And what we are trying to tell him,
right,
basi kama ni Rigathi Gachagua wako guilty of sending goons na anapanga na polisi, si hata hao polisi walikuwa wamevaa hiyo uniform walipewa na Rigathi Gachagua huko Kisii. You know, these things don't make sense, and I keep telling these people, own up to your responsibility. You have failed as a government to offer security to Kenyans. The stoning of CJ Maraga's car, Akina Sifuna, and all those things, and one person actually did die in Keumbu,
unfortunately, yeah,
and that's really sad. Was it necessary? Did you have to kill people because they've come to meet and say one term? I keep telling Kipchumba Murkomen he needs to learn one lesson from Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and if it's the only lesson he's going to learn. One of the biggest rallies that ever happened in this country,
yes,
that was one of the most scary to any government, was when one Raila Amolo Odinga chose to swear himself in as the people's president at Uhuru Park, whatever that meant.
Yes.
And Miguna was there, and the others were there. What did Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta do and his security apparatus?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
They decided, in fact, withdraw the policemen from Uhuru Park. What happened?
Nothing.
They had a very successful swearing-in ceremony, and Raila left Uhuru Park as the people's president, and Uhuru remained in State House as the president of the Republic of Kenya.
And people went home.
And people went home peacefully.
Nobody. There was no goonism in town.
Can you imagine?
No
Nobody
died. No one. No shop
Nobody
was
died.
broken into. Nothing.
Swearing-in ceremony. Wacha hii mkutano kidogo.
Something treasonous.
This is treasonous. It's happening at Uhuru Park. It's a swearing-in ceremony. But Uhuru discovered one thing. I think Raila has a chance, and he has a constitutional right to make himself happy. As long as he's not declaring himself the president of the Republic of Kenya, he's calling himself the people's president, let him be. They went to Uhuru Park. They swore themselves in. There was a big thing. People walked. Niliona kulikuwa na maji ilikuwa inaran Uhuru. If you remember, the people took a shower there. They did all sorts of things. Wakatembea na matawi. But everybody went back home, tired and happy. And the rest of us watched it from home.
Walivent.
Walisema
ikawatoka.
Yeah. And then after a few months, Raila and Uhuru shook hands.
BBI
and they worked together. All we are trying to tell Kenyans is this. This intolerance has to come to an end. This goonism has to come to an end. And the biggest problem is, walikuwa hapa kwetu Dagoretti South. They were launching a bridge, which I measured and I shared on Facebook. And I tell Kenyans, go and measure. Weka gari yako zero from mahali inaanza to mahali inaisha. It is not 850 meters.
It was I think you said it was
I said 600, but nilikuwa nimeongezea 50 meters per day na 70 meters per day. That is about 480. I told people, go with your car. Yangu inaweza kuiko na shida. Enda upime leo, weka zero. Haita kucost ni hapa Ngong Road. It is not 850 meters. So when you get less than 500 meters of a bridge costing 3.8 billion, I told Kenyans, let us close our eyes for a second and picture Outer Ring, because Kenyans like making noise about nothing. Outer Ring inaanzanga pale Taj Mall. Taj Mall kuna interchange kubwa sana, kuna daraja kama hii.
Ndio.
Hiyo ni ya kwanza. Kuja na hiyo barabara fika Donholm. There is another interchange, kuna daraja imepita juu. Ama hamuonangi?
Iko hapo naijua.
Haya, toka Donholm, enda mbele kidogo. pale njia inaitwa Caltex ile ya kwenda Kangundo Road. There's another
bridge,
yes. Enda mbele kitso, hiyo ni ya 3, si ndio? Tuende ya 4 pale, the one that goes to Buruburu inside. On one side and this side sijui inaenda Kariobangi gani. It is there. Toka hapo enda mbele kidogo, kuna ile interchange sasa inaingianga Dandora, ile ya kwenda Kariobangi South na nini na Isli. Hiyo ni ya 5. Towards Babadogo kuna ya ngapi?
Ya 6.
And then that stretch from Taj Mall to Thika Road is 13 kilometers.
Okay.
Plus 6 bridges bigger than this one here. That whole thing cost 12.3 billion. I can repeat again.
12.
Those 6 bridges plus 13 kilometers of road on Outer Ring Road cost 12.3 billion. Sio mimi niliandika. Sio mimi nilisema. It is on your phone, Google. So someone comes and launches a bridge here. 3.8 billion for 500 meters and we are supposed to clap for him. Na shida ni kwamba kuna magunzo walikuwa wamejaa hapo na pikipiki wenye hatujaiona Dagoretti South. Those are the guys KJ was shouting at. Wanasema tutam. We asking them, where the heaven do you guys come from? How do you even look? Watu wa Dagoretti South wakai hivi. Alafu wanatuibia mchana. Waliiba. They are very decent. Watu wa Dagoretti South wako na maduka hapo. Hawakujangi na pikipiki. Tell me. Why do you need 300-400 pikipikis for people who are coming from shops that are there?
I'm sure guys came from other places to see, number one, the president, to see the spectacle that the road is, according to them.
And one thing KJ never did.
Why don't we ask the question?
He never advised the president that kuna kiwanja kubwa ya Kanjo hapo. Haikuwa na haja kutufungia barabara. Hapo next.
When the Assembler Bridge was launched at T-Mall, why didn't you see a crowd of that nature? Because the T-Mall...
Was it even launched?
Yes, it was
launched. The T-Mall one.
Yes. These things are all launched.
Which I think was another mistake by Uhuru. Because people think that when I say that Ruto is doing bad things, I am supporting the mistakes that Uhuru might have done. Bridge ikiisha, bridge imeisha. Just let it happen.
Yeah.
You see, that one cost 3.2 billion.
Okay.
Personally, I will not comment on it because I don't know what these things cost. I don't know what even a kilometer of road should cost because I don't even know the types of roads that we will have. But what I do know is that 3 billion is a lot of money.
It is. It's a lot.
That's why I told people...
kuna counties zinapatanga hiyo kama...
Yes!
I tell people like Dominic Ngeno here, who is speaking to me on chat. I tell them, just go and check how much it costs to do Outer Ring Road. 13 kilometers with 6 interchanges.
Yes.
And then come and ask yourself why 500 meters would cost 3.8 billion.
And some of those
people say Fanyamambo is lying. I tell them fine.
They are long.
Very, yes.
I tell them Fanyamambo is lying. I tell them fine. Your car will not lie to you. Ingia hapa Prestige, Junction Mall. Sali naanza weka 0. Ikiisha weka check.
Stop.
You'll even be surprised. I've been magnanimous to call it 600 meters. I've been extremely magnanimous. It is not. So this daylight robbery of government against its citizens is what we are condemning, is what we are saying is unacceptable. It is wrong. And we have to speak the truth. And we have to tell them, sasa wakishamaliza kutubia pesa ndio wanaenda wanamwaga Olkalao. Because tell me, which budget ilisomwa yenye ilikuwa imeandika mattresses for Olkalao? Which budget ilisomwa ilikuwa imebudget Nyandarua University? Which budget ilisomwa yenye ilikuwa imesema a train to Olkalao? Which budget ilisomwa yenye ilikuwa imesema barabara za Olkalao ziwekwe hizo vitu zote? There was no budgetary provision for it. Why are we doing things outside of the budget? And that is the thing. Pesa yetu inaibiwa, inapelekwa kwa siasa.
Maybe hizo matters zilikuwa excess tu mahali na badala ya
take them to hospital. In fact, mimi sahi najitayarisha next week. No, this towards the end of this week naenda Olkalao. And I'm going to camp there to campaign for our party candidate DCP. And one of the things we are going to request people is if there is a way we can show rejection. Sisi tuchukue sisi wote hizo mattresses, we look for the nearest hospital, we go and take them inside the hospital. Then we see what the government will do. Because we need to send a message to government and tell them these mattresses are needed in hospital. And I dare submit to the people of Olkalao, I think this is a high time we showed them that we have dignity. Tuamke tuchukue hizo gondoro zote. We look for the nearest level 4 hospital. Tuende tuambie tumezileta kwa reception zote zipangwe hapo. Tuseme this is where the mattresses are needed. Then the government will wake up. But you cannot have women sharing hospital beds. 3 of them. And I have seen governors who are allied to this administration. Kwake kwa county, 3 women are giving birth and sharing a bed. Na yeye anaenda kuzaa US. Na anarudi na anakaa na watu wanasema nilikuwa nimeenda kuzaa US. Na wamama, kwani kuna mama ambaye ni mama kuliko wale wengine? When I say sometimes these people saying at sijui, I ask them, have you thought about it? You know, I was leaving Royal Media the other day. And I spoke to 2 UDA MPs. Tulikutana hapo tukitoka.
Okay.
Wakaniambia fanya mambo tunawashinda hii uchaguzi. I asked them how.
Uchaguzi ya Lukalao sasa?
Year 2027.
Okay.
They said it's a repeat of 2007. I asked them, what do you mean? They say it is Kenya versus Kikuyus. And I have seen that nonsense being peddled
Where do
online.
these people come from exactly?
All of them came from Rift Valley. So I asked them, why do you mean Kenya? What do you mean Kenyans versus Kikuyus? And that's why I understood this Hassan Omar narrative and Akinambadi and all these other people who've been speaking against Kikuyus. Now, we have news for you.
Actually,
We have
Hassan
news for
Omar
you.
was not speaking against Kikuyus. If you listen to what he was saying, his focus was Uhuru Kenyatta.
We know what he means. So we have been told, we have been telling, unajua atampiga mchungaji wa kondoo na kondoo wa kundi lake watatawanyika. We know them. What we said as Kikuyus, we also have news for you. By the way, si lazima tukue president. We have made that very clear.
Yes.
Na si lazima tukue deputy president. That again we have made clear. Na tumekuwa tukiambia watu, sisi wa Kikuyu hatutaki. We've not said we want to be. We've only said we are looking for leaders who mean well for this country. And I remember there's a time Rigathi Gachagua said, hata kama ni Oburu Odinga mutatuletea, tunaweza mpea kura, bora sio William Ruto. So that conversation has to die, and it has to die now. This thing of thinking that Kikuyus are the problem, we are telling you we are not. Give us even another Kalenjin. You can give us Kipruto Kirwa. We made Ruto president knowing his Kalenjin. We gave Raila 1 million votes knowing his Luo as Kikuyus. And by the way, after the Luo community, the Kikuyus again were the second in terms of giving Raila more votes. Ukihesabu kura zetu ni mingi kuliko zile hata Waluya walimpea. So people come and tell us, oh, you're tribal. No. That narrative has to die, because we are saying we are not even entitled to the presidency. Si yetu, ni ya Kenya. Give us a good Taita, give us a Kisii, give us a... We don't care. And that's why we are saying those principles. Linda Mwananchi and United Alternative Opposition, they are coming together before September. We are going to work together. If you don't want it, too bad. And once we work together, we are saying all those principles, they all stand a chance. Kalonzo stands a chance, Sifuna stands a chance. In fact, in that United Alternative Opposition, we have other people from other communities who are more than the Kikuyus. So we are ready to work with anybody and everybody. The only person we have a problem with is one individual called William Samoei Ruto. Not even the Kalenjin community. By the way, tunawapenda. Tumesema hata mkitupatia mkale mwingine, we would still vote for them. Yule mtu tuko na shida naye ni mtu anaitwa William Samoei Ruto. So there is this nonsense of trying to divide this country in terms of tribe and trying to show ati kuna Wakipsigis, kuna Wakale, kuna Wakikuyu. Hakuna. There is one indivisible nation called Kenya. And there is one person that Kenya has a problem with. That singular individual is called William Ruto.
Actually, no. Kenyans don't have a problem with William Ruto. Your party has a problem with William Ruto. And your party leader comes from central Kenya. So if one were to use the interpretation you used when I mentioned that Hassan Omar was talking to Kenyatta, to Uhuru Kenyatta, you could say that there are those who will interpret and say that Rigathi Gachagua represents the Kikuyu nation. In my opinion, he doesn't. That is my opinion. No, in my opinion, he actually doesn't. Because I happen to know a little bit about central Kenya and how it is. They go about their political business. We cannot have a situation where our interpretations can be seen to focus on an individual, and in so doing, we impute hatred towards that person. That is a harmful narrative, because once you introduce it, it is not going to end with that particular individual. It will be part of our political culture, and it is harmful. So one should be very, very careful about how it is you target the narratives that you have. If there is a government that is doing things which are wrong, we point at those things which are wrong and we say this is wrong. But it is absolutely and irrevocably harmful. Once we start pointing at individuals, we are back to the days when Raila Odinga was considered a target in central Kenya. Now, I know for a fact that in central Raila used to get votes. Not a few, not even the ones that we saw. There were more. I know that for a fact. But,
including my vote.
yes, but if this politics that we encourage, sometimes inadvertently, that by the very nature of what we say we are not dividing Kenyans, and yet we are.
No, I think, City, you need to appreciate who the person of William Ruto is. He's this gentleman who wakes up and decides he wants a state lodge in Meru Forest. Then we ask him, Your Excellency, we are trying to understand you. Meru is so big. Why does it have to take destruction of a forest to build a state lodge? Meru ni kubwa sana. Na watu wa Meru wanakuambia, take any other piece of land. Government owns a lot of land in Meru. But they don't listen. You have to destroy a forest to create a state lodge and a golf course for the president. Why?
Is there an
How many people does it have?
airstrip there as well?
Yeah?
Is there an airstrip?
In fact, I keep again saying, from Isiolo to Meru is a 30 minutes drive.
Yes, it is.
Yes? So the only problem that Isiolo airport has is that the runway was badly done. Any runway, the longest we have is Nanyuki, which is 5 kilometers. Check how much it costs to build a kilometer of highway. So hata kama tungeijenga na 100 million per kilometer, 500 million, we have a very strong, because kama inabeba trailer ya 40 ton, it will
By
take
the way,
so building a runway plus all those, we checked, it would not have cost anything more than 20 billion, just to make sure that
a runway, the cost of a runway,
I know, I checked online, because it involves some lighting, it involves
it's not just the lighting. The aggregate that you put, call it the foundation that you put on a runway, is far superior to what you see on any road that you can think of. It's a completely different way of building a road. If you've checked, then you understand. Now,
na mbona ya Wilson inakaanga hivyo?
Inakaaga vipi?
Bwana,
The Wilson Airport is old. When was the last time?
And it was made for light aircraft. That's why heavy aircraft doesn't land there. But actually, to do Isiolo, the total cost of doing that runway is much, much less than what they are doing at Nithi Bridge. One of the biggest killers of people at Nithi Bridge is the Miraa vehicle. Why is it running to get to the airport? And where is that Miraa going to? Somalia. The bulk of it. So anybody using common sense would have said, let's work on the runway at Isiolo.
Okay.
Kale kandege kanabebanga Miraa kanenanga tu na Miraa. So if we just use common sense, Miraa ingekuwa inatoka Meru, half an hour, sasa hata si half an hour kwa gari ya Miraa, labda 15 minutes juu, those things fly, ni ambulance. So that Miraa gets to Isiolo International Airport and it goes to Somalia and so many these other places. So before you just start rushing to do these other things, the president does not listen to us. And that's why we are saying, the reason we have a problem with this administration is that William Ruto needs to go home so that we stop having a situation where goons come, or some of the people we are compensating now were beaten up and maimed by goons who were seen on camera accompanied by policemen. Now those goons are walking free. Those policemen are still at police stations. Your tax and mine is being used. Just last week there was a headline, the return of abductions. So on one side we are saying that we are going to compensate those people who've been abducted and tortured by the police. And then on the other hand, the abductions have returned, and you've seen the activists the other day, they were just still healing, they are still in a lot of pain. Now, because we set up a compensation mechanism, then it's okay. Because ni pesa ya CT na ya Mbuvi na ya Fanya Mambo, let's have one arm that abducts, and then now let us use taxpayers' money to continue compensating the ones that are being abducted.
It's interesting
until we push it to the place where the president pays from his personal pocket, the head of DCI pays from their personal pocket, any policeman involved in abduction is made to pay from their personal pockets. Once we get it there, then you will see a reduction in abductions.
But I think we've already gotten there.
Yes, I saw the court ruling. saw the court ruling and they said, yes, now from now on, let us push it to the people who are doing it. So that if someone is abducted, we tell the police department that DCI produced the 5 men who abducted Albert Ojwang. And then now those 5 men are made to sell their cows, their sheep, their goat, their everything to compensate this family. Once that happens, no policeman will accept to be used. But also the goons, like what happened at All Saints. Any property that was destroyed, anything that went wrong, we were supposed to get those goons and hold them personal, so that family yao inafanya fundraising na wanafanya akiwa jela, so that we have 2 suits, a criminal suit against this person so that he serves a jail term, and a civil suit for the recovery of this money and compensation. That is the only way we are going to make this nation move forward.
And it will help with deterring what we call rogue policemen.
No, not just rogue policemen. These people, rogue policemen, yes, but it looks like it's a free-for-all enterprise. See, the moment somebody is in a balaclava or has covered their face, and now we hear of Subarus that don't have number plates. To be honest, do you know exactly who is doing the abduction?
No, we don't.
What is certain? The impunity with which they do the abduction, they have some protection.
He maandamano ya juzi, the last one, we saw cops. I think, well, there were cops in uniform. Waligotea wengine kwa Subaru. Kuja wakasalimia. There's like a video that was doing rounds. So these guys were in their balaclavas leading on their Subaru. They also had guns. There were 3 of them. Now wakakuja wakasalimia na other cops in uniform. And it's like they know each other. So I'll assume that the guys in Subarus are policemen.
Yes.
I'll give you the answer. They are. Why? Have you ever seen somebody who says 2-term abducted? Have you ever seen someone who supports William Ruto openly being abducted? Have you ever seen someone doing a demonstration and saying, sisi ni watu wa 2-term, being arrested, abducted, and dying in a police cell? So these abductors are so obsessed with 1-term guys because they are anti-government abductors.
My
only be government
my
abductors.
point, Fanya Mambo, is this. Whenever you find that a certain degree of lawlessness has the example being set from probably the highest office in the land, if you have a court ruling that is disregarded, what is not seen is that an example is being set. What then happens is there are people who are within close proximity to the president who also will tend to have their own enterprise. Because the question that I ask myself is, how does William Ruto benefit when young people are abducted or killed? How does he benefit? You think he does not know that if it was unpopularity, it goes, forget going a notch higher, it gets stratospheric. Issues that relate to children, the reaction is not just anger, it is extreme anger. Because you're asking, but these are kids, they're harmless. If someone is harmful, why are they not taken to court? People, the thing that I have observed and have seen in time about the presidency, there are things that happen within a presidency and the president will be blamed directly. And sometimes the president knew of that incident at the time we did. For instance, Moi was blamed for Uko's death. What did Moi benefit from Uko's death?
But also, CT, I'll ask the same question. And you've said this several times, and it makes a lot of sense. But why hasn't he done something about it?
Precisely.
If people are abducting and killing in your name, or in the name of your government, at the very least, Bana, tell them, guys, I don't want this.
Not only no.
And tell them by
actually heads should roll.
Yeah.
It is not a question of herein comes the conundrum. There are people even within government circles who it is felt even the president will go slow on doing anything about them. And you have to ask, what is this thing that these people do for the president that makes them, puts them in this particular position? In the Moi era, it was said that of somebody called Nicholas Biwott. When Uko died, around that same time, Nicholas Biwott was put in jail for a couple of days because his name had been mentioned. But he wasn't the only one. The then PS for Interior was also put in jail for a couple of days. Okay?
He was called Kalam Maduong.
Yes, Kalama doing the big pen. Yes, but around the same time, the commission that led to the inquiry of this thing under Chief Justice Gicheru, that thing was brought to an abrupt end.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the only one. When J.M. Kariuki died in the Kenyatta era, there was a commission led by Mwangale. The Mwangale Commission, again, the findings, everything, when people, it was supposed to be publicized, it came to an end. What I'm saying is, there are things that happen at certain times. The issue of Tom Mboya being assassinated. Somebody was mentioned, another one was mentioned, but somebody had gone to Ethiopia. There is always a problem with some of these issues that we've had in the country, that people ask questions and there are rarely any answers. I cannot answer why heads have not rolled, because in my opinion, heads should roll.
They should. Fanya Mambo, we have come to the end of the show. Give us your parting shots.
I think my parting shot is one. I have told Kenyans that do not let your stomach lead you in these coming elections. Ukiletewa mattress, ukiletewa chochote, that is your money. Pick it up. But remember, your decision shall not be based on the things that look like favors that this administration is giving you. I looked at Gladys Wanga sweating in parliament, trying to explain to people how SHA was working around the country. When she went there, she was told, your county is owed 350 million by SHA. You are the one who's been going around this country telling people SHA is working. Wewe Gladys Wanga, county yako 350 million, hamjapewa na SHA. And she couldn't have an explanation. So let us not have leaders who are self-seeking. Let us not have leaders who will do anything to please this administration, yet they know their own people are suffering. This country belongs to all of us, and we can salvage this country and we can keep it. But at the same time, let us use common sense. Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is where we come to a close as far as our conversation is concerned. I've liked it. And again, kama kawaida, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
All right.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Here's the news with Winnie Maganga.
This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. Police have arrested a man accused of running a fake job scam that allegedly conned job seekers out of more than 8.6 million Kenya shillings. The suspect, Derek Oduor, is accused of promising people jobs in the Kenya Defence Forces, National Police Service and the Public Service Commission in exchange for money. DCI detectives launched investigations after several complaints were reported at Baragoi Police Station in Samburu County before tracking down and arresting the suspect. The government has launched an operation to collect illegal guns in Kerio Valley as part of efforts to improve security in the region. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen said special security forces will be redeployed within the next 3 weeks. Speaking in Samburu, Murkomen urged people with illegal firearms to surrender them before police take action against them.
Kuna bunduki mbaya iko Samburu, iko Baringo hapo Tiatich, iko pale Turkana East pale, iko kwa Turkana South huko, iko kwa West Pokot huko, iko hapa Isiolo. Sasa yote lazima itolewe. Na hao askari wakikuja hapa, tunataka kila mtu atoe bunduki yake kwa hiari. Itakuwa ni intelligence led operation.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has defended the government's plan to sell 15% stake in Safaricom to Vodacom. Speaking in Soliat Sigowet Soin constituency in Kericho County, Kindiki said the money raised will be set aside for infrastructure projects through the National Infrastructure Fund. He said the funds will help finance roads, dams, railways and airports, unlike previous privatization proceeds that were mainly used for government recurrent expenditure.
The money that we are collecting from the sale of government stake, we are not using it to pay salaries. We are not using it to buy vehicles for government officials. We are not funding recurrent expenditure. We are taking it direct to the National Infrastructure Fund, which is governed by an independent board, and their work is to use that money to build roads, to build dams, to build railways, to build airports, We cannot again use the proceeds of government stake in government-owned entities for recurrent expenditure.
Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro says he has left the ruling United Democratic Alliance Party and is consulting before announcing his next political step. Nyoro accused UDA of abandoning Kenyans, saying several leaders have already moved away from the party. Nyoro said his current consultations were not about whether to remain in UDA, but about determining his next political destination.
And that is the reason all of us moved away from the governing party. Na hapa wote tumeondoka. There is no more person on top of a wheelbarrow or taking a wheelbarrow anywhere here in our place. Even the entire Kenya, watu wote, sisi wote tuliondokea hiyo wheelbarrow. Na hakuna taswishi hapo. So the decision we are making is not about whether to support wheelbarrow or not or where. That decision we made it long time ago.
Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky says fighting is still going on in the eastern town of Kostanivka, despite Russia claiming it has captured the area. Russia earlier announced that its forces had taken control of the town in the Donetsk region, but Ukraine denied the claim and said its troops are still defending it. Zelensky accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of making false claims about the battlefield situation. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
Sports on Radio Generation.
Good morning, I'm Samuel Otieno. England booked their place in the World Cup quarter-finals after a thrilling 3-2 win over hosts Mexico at the famous Mexico City Stadium. Jude Bellingham scored twice while Harry Kane added a penalty as the Three Lions secured a hard-fought victory. England played most of the second half with 10 men but managed to hold off a strong comeback from Mexico. The win sends England into the quarter-finals for the third straight World Cup, where they will now face Norway. Meanwhile, Norway shocked Brazil 2-0 to reach the World Cup quarter-finals for the first time ever. Brazil missed a big chance in the first half when Bruno Guimaraes failed to score a penalty. The game stayed level until the 79th minute. Alan then scored again in the 90th minute with a powerful low shot from outside the box to seal Norway's famous win. And that's your sports update on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Samuel Otieno.
Sports on Radio Generation. The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast. Curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights. Radio Generation.
A very good morning and welcome back. It is now 7 minutes past 8 o'clock. My name is Mungala Mbuvi. This is the People's Breakfast on Radio Generation 88.8 FM in Nairobi, 90.7 in Mombasa, na Garissa it's 89.5. Salamu ziwafikie Atticus now who's... Hey, Atticus, what's not happening this morning? Nixon Owor as well. How are you doing, sir? Thank you for coming through. There's Brian Bruno as well. I see you. There is... kuna jina ingine nilikuwa nimeona lakini imepotea mahali hapa, but no worries. My Tech 2.0, I see you. How are you doing, sir? There is also Morris Andati. Morris is saying, Mbuvi, I have said here so many times, there is a serious crop of people in Kenya who are impressed by mediocrity and are always on the verge or to support incompetence. This phenomenon needs to be studied. There's Mukasa Meshak as well. How are you doing, sir? Na wale wengine wote. I'll be checking out your names later on. This is also the first time I'm seeing here. Teraxa. Is it Teraxa 1? All right, Tex, I'm seeing you for the first time, but I'm thinking maybe you're a silent listener, so karibu tena sana. There's Bernard as well, who's saying drain the swamp. We shall discuss about this swamp that needs to be drained. But in studio, we do have our guest for this particular hour. And we want to focus on regional politics and the changing voter map. So with us to help us have this conversation is Honorable Abdul Haro. He is the Member of Parliament from Mandera South. Mheshimiwa, good morning and welcome to Radio Generation.
Good morning and thank you very much for hosting me.
Glad that you could make it.
Thank you very much.
All right, before we get down to business, City has a proverb. He will share with you this proverb, alafu utatuambia what you think about it.
That's all right.
Twende kazi, City.
This week, we are not going to mine proverbs from a particular country. I decided to mine proverbs from different parts of the continent, but I will not mention where they are from, and I gave the reason earlier on.
Right.
I will leave out some countries. I do not want people ask me why I've left out their country. So I will state the proverb, and you will find that many people can align the proverb, because some of these proverbs are very similar in different cultures, in different countries, but they're the same.
Right. Bless you.
A poor man knows he is poor, but a poor woman thinks she's just with the wrong man.
This sounds very familiar. And it's like sometimes even when in the Bible or in the Quran they tell you to give, and then when you give they're telling you let the right hand
not know
what the left hand is giving.
Yes.
So it looks like it's a paradox in life.
It is a paradox.
I like that answer. All right.
Right.
Kuna vile hata yeye anajua venye kumekaa.
It is a paradox.
Yes. All right. Let's get down to business about Mandera. How is Mandera? Because I found you talking to the producer, and from what I've heard is that Mandera is doing quite well. The weather is doing good. Watu wako na chakula. Or did I hear wrong?
No, you didn't hear wrong.
Yes.
Now it's the cold season. The June has just ended. The July has just begun.
Yes.
And it's also a cold season in Mandera. So the high temperatures that are usually common during the drought in that region,
yes,
they've now dropped. We just had some rains before the cold season set in.
Okay.
And rains mean pasture for our livestock.
Yes, indeed.
And when our livestock are fat, there's milk, there's meat. Then food security in that region means when you have plenty of milk and you have plenty of meat around.
So the dire situation that we had seen a couple of months ago, because I remember we even hosted Red Cross here, and they were telling us that things in the north are not really good. But you're saying that right now things are not looking as bad as they...
No, they're not looking as bad as they seem. See,
right.
the most interesting thing in that part of the world is rain is like, it's everything.
Yeah. We had a conversation with your governor and deputy governor, and he told us that Mandera, actually, there is even a forest there that people, don't even know about. And it's looking really green, and the place basically doesn't look like it has always been portrayed in media.
Yeah.
And I was asking myself, why isn't Mandera coming out to say these things, other than now the leaders coming to places such as this one and talking about it?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the story from Northeastern is normally told by people from other parts outside that region.
Very true.
And it's because perhaps the media, when you invite hosts to speak about Northeastern, generally, even if there is insecurity, you call some security experts who've never even visited Northeastern.
No, lived there. People don't even come from there.
Exactly. People who have no idea of what the context look like. People who believe if you go to Mandera, you will not find a single tree.
Yeah.
They believe you'll see rocks, stones, and everything.
An endless desert.
Exactly. And I think those are some of the biases which have been there in the past. But fortunately, things are changing now. At least you're inviting leaders to your studios to speak about the region.
Yes.
And I can see also some hosts from from the region, experts in different fields, being invited to the media nowadays. And I think you should give more space to the people from the region to tell the story from the region.
True, I agree. There are folks who are actually coming from that region that they say that initially there was marginalization because of Sessional Paper 10 of 1965, but after now devolution, what they're saying is that there is self-marginalization by the leaders, governors, members of parliament. I don't know what you think about that statement.
I think there is some truth in it.
Okay.
Because 60-something years after independence, we cannot keep on talking about marginalization and we point our fingers to the center when we know we have some resources which have been devolved to there. Let me tell you, when we enacted the 2010 Constitution, the people from Northeastern celebrated. It was like the 1963 celebration in the country for the people of Northeastern in 2010. Just because that Constitution promised a number of things. Apart from the devolved funds, it recognized the marginalized regions, and even set up what we called the Equalization Fund. And after that devolution, and 15 years of devolution, we cannot keep on pointing fingers to the center that we are being marginalized from the center. You know, marginalization manifests itself in very many ways. Sometimes there is horizontal marginalization, sometimes there is vertical marginalization. And yes, I agree. Just like corruption, you know, it is moving from the center to the periphery. Yes.
Well, I remember actually, now that you've mentioned corruption, there's a time former DP Gachagua was saying that that area, the amount of corruption going on, and he received a lot of backlash. But I like the fact that we agree corruption is everywhere, whether it's in the central region, eastern, northeastern, south, whichever side you choose. Corruption is a big deal in this country.
Correct.
And we need to tackle it objectively.
I agree.
All right. The president has been in the north a lot, traveling. He even did the Madaraka. Was it Madaraka
Day? Yes, in Wajir.
Wajir, the newly constructed stadium, and so on and so forth. Are we seeing government giving that area the kind of attention that it had missed for all this time?
Definitely. I think the fifth president of the Republic, William Samoei Ruto, has gone out of his way to deliberately court the northeastern region and make them feel included as part of this country. Before President Ruto, the general feeling in northeastern was that while Somalis from northeastern were trying very hard to get integrated into the other Kenya, it was refusing to accept them. And always treating them with suspicion, calling them, you know, Somalis, terrorists, branding them all sorts of things. When their children pass exams very well, they say they have no brains, they cheated. When, you know, all sorts of, you know, bad things were associated with the people from the region. And President Ruto came in and he deliberately
changed
that. And one of the things that happened, especially recently during the Madaraka Day, for the first time in the history of this country, the president apologized to the people from the region for the marginalization that has been subjected to that region by the past presidents. And that meant a lot symbolically, even if it didn't translate into some material gain for the region. Symbolically and psychologically to the people from the region, it meant a lot, because you are branded all sorts of names, and nobody recognized the context you're coming from, and the marginalization that the successive governments have subjected you to. And that's why when you mentioned Gachagua and corruption at the time, I just laughed inwardly, because because some of the things he was speaking about were things actually he and his team he was supporting all along have been responsible for. You know, that historical neglect, that historical marginalization. You know, when Kenyans were celebrating independence in 1963, the region was in what we call the infamous shifter war.
I remember.
We were not celebrating independence like other Kenyans. We were under a condition of war. And the poverty you see in Northeastern today
Yes.
has its roots
to that
to
particular
that region,
period.
to that particular period. Because you see, when you target the economy of a people, you kill the livestock, you poison the wells, and you kill a number of people so that you hammer sense into the people. So in quotes,
Yes.
the root cause of the poverty that we see in that region actually has its as origin in that period.
Mheshimiwa, if I may just lend credence to what you're saying, it is true, but the marginalization began much earlier. It began in 1902.
Correct.
The colonial government had something they call ordinances.
Yes.
They first of all just referred to it as an area that wasn't perhaps productive
Correct.
agriculturally. In 1926, they strengthened it and gave it a touch of administrative significance, meaning they were now one step away from actually legislating it. In 1934, now they legislated, and there was an administrative position that was taken by the government. The 1965 sessional paper that we speak of was simply strengthening what had been put in place. The shifter war that people refer to, the 1963 shifter war, was as a result of that marginalization. Because the people said, but this is a waste of time. Well, why are we in this country when we are being treated as though we
don't belong?
Exactly. So it wasn't as though the Somali people decided that they were just going to give this government of Kenya a hard time. No, that's not the case.
This was as a result of?
They had been systematically marginalized over time. And when independence came, it was clear the marginalization was continuing. Then you have a sessional paper that now entrenches it further. What do you think? What do you think? What did you expect that the people of Northeastern Province were going to do? How exactly?
They were not going to continue with this.
When you hear marginalization, I don't think people actually get the picture. The development that other people take for granted, roads, infrastructure, electricity, running water, the things that people take for granted, they did not know it. Yani hakuna.
Correct.
This Mandera that you are speaking of to Nairobi, 20 hours, and it was a lorry. The roads required people who had business and wanted to transport either goods or something. So when somebody feels that they talks about a road, you're talking about something that the region was seeing for the first time. A tarmac road. It's not as though there were other tarmac roads and this one was being recarpeted.
Correct.
No, it didn't exist.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, so we are seeing, and that is why perhaps this next question is very important. Who is the region supporting as far as the next general election is concerned? That hasn't been clear, especially for me, for as long as we've been having these conversations, even with the leaders coming from there. But maybe you can give us an insight. You can give us an insight.
I thought that was a very, very clear question in the politics of this country. The entire region of Northeastern, I can tell you without a fear of contradiction, that it's going to rally behind William Samoei Ruto come 2027 elections. That is no secret.
Yeah.
We don't whisper it in
corridors.
We speak it publicly in public rallies, in our public barazas, in our meetings, in our homes, in our schools, in all our events.
Right.
And it's because of the reasons I just told you. William has not done as much as he has done for the rest of the country, for the Northeastern. But the goodwill he has shown and the little effort he has put in trying to bring Northeastern on board,
right,
means like a mega, step to the people from the region who have not seen any president before William Ruto showing that kind of an attention. If you look at the first president, Jomo, the memory our people have is what we were discussing about the shifter war. It's just the killings and the sufferings, and up to around 1997 when we had the IPPG package,
yes,
the entire region was a closed region. It's only the military and the NGOs who are not allowed in. It's only the security actors who are allowed into the region. So nobody was developing. No church. The missionaries were not going there. The other NGOs who could have assisted the region were not allowed to go in there.
Government agencies that could have assisted
were not allowed in there. So the little effort. That's why the little effort the President William Samoei Ruto has done for the region.
Right.
Looks like it's a whole century for us. It's the first time somebody has come out and said your children, your youth can acquire ID cards like
any other
Kenyan. And you have seen the flack and the beating he has received just for that effort to try and bring in Northeastern, He has been called, he's shifting the entire Somalia into Kenya, he's bringing in Al-Shabaab, he's doing that. Somalis are not the only people living along the border regions. There are Maasais who are in Tanzania and in Kenya, there are Luyas and Luos who are across in Uganda,
and
there are
Kenya.
Pokot, there are Turkana. But when it comes to the Somali question...
There are more couriers in Tanzania than there are in Kenya.
Exactly. The Taitas are in Tanzania, they are in Coast. And you wonder why this agitation about the Somalis, and the Somalis are part of this country. Unless you tell me Northeastern is not Kenya, I don't understand this.
Actually, the question that I would ask Mheshimiwa is who is pushing this narrative? Because, for instance, there's this narrative that we were discussing in the previous hour.
Yes.
When the gentleman who was here before you talked about the whole country doesn't believe in William Ruto. And I think that is not true.
It's not true.
I said it is not true. We need to segment and talk about those who don't want him and say these people.
Correct.
Okay? But I went further and said, singling a person and generating a culture and narrative of hate doesn't help anybody.
It is true. It doesn't.
He will leave that job.
Correct.
But that culture will remain with us.
Correct.
So the next person who gets that particular position, the very headwinds that William Ruto is facing are the same headwinds, if not worse.
It is very true.
That that person will face.
And that's why Somalia is in the situation it is in today. They started this kind of thing for every president that comes in. And it has refused to go away. Even if you are in the majority, the moment you come to power, you will be treated exactly the same way you treated the other person.
Before. Yes.
And that cycle keeps on continuing. And we have a lesson in Somalia, and I wish many Kenyans try to understand a little bit about how Somalia has come to where they are today, especially when it comes to the elective politics around the presidency. It's very difficult to become a president in Somalia.
Yeah.
All the guns will be pointed at you. And that's exactly what narrative other Kenyans are trying to build around William Samoei Ruto. So William Samoei Ruto is an individual. He's a Kenyan. He's a Kenyan president, either by luck or by, of course, he has been elected by Kenyans. And the time will come when either he exits after his second term, or if he doesn't get elected, in an unlikely event he doesn't get elected, he will retire like any other president. So this narrative where and you see Kenya is a very diverse and vast country. If somebody tells you the entire country hates William Samoei Ruto, we have different context. What Mount Kenya needs is not what Northeastern needs. What Nyanza needs is not what Nairobi needs.
For sure.
We have different contexts, different needs, and William is addressing those needs differently.
Okay. Do you think that some of the things that that are being said about the president online, whether it's calling him a liar, do you think, number one, they are warranted? Do you think there's some truth to it? Do you think that perhaps he's misunderstood? What's your perception of what is being said about him online?
I think being in a position of leadership, I'm not the president, but I'm a member of parliament.
Yes, you are.
And sometimes at a lower level, I receive the same kind of treatment that the president receives from some other people,
Okay.
And I think it is unwarranted, and most of the times he's misunderstood.
Okay.
And again, when you promise to do something, a president, you can account and hold him accountable after 5 years. You expect something to be done today, something is said today, and it's done tomorrow. Things don't work like that.
Yeah.
If somebody has promised something, and that thing he has promised during his term, Why don't you give him a full term and account with him at the end of his term?
Yes.
How do you expect to start saying he has failed in his second year? Because this thing has started with William even before he's finished his first year, in second year.
Already 100 days.
100 days, you're already saying he's a failure.
Yes. First year.
I think it's unwarranted, it's unfair, and I wish Kenyans, we are a young democracy, and I'm happy you're looking at the region. We are an admiration of many African neighbors, and we are not doing badly in terms of our democratic, but we need to change our view on how we look at our leaders and how we hold them accountable. Not just slogans, flying here and there. You put substance into what you...
Mheshimiwa, you're right. If you look at, you're talking about the culture that developed in Somalia,
Yes.
and what it has led to. Most people do not know that Somalia was a thriving nation.
Yes.
It had the clans and the leaders, but it was a thriving nation, essentially unified. It had industry. It had commerce. It was actually a very lovely nation to look at. The education system, the university, there were things that were working for that particular country. And when you look at its shoreline, probably the longest.
The longest.
Yes. They had it going for them. One side, Bare was deposed. Haki, the country has never known any peace for any length of time that you can speak of. Now, why am I saying this? There's a certain culture of intolerance that we have been incubating, and it keeps growing with every presidency, where the moment a president is elected, he is the most popular person on earth.
Correct.
Haki within the first year. The previous president was the best person ever.
Correct.
I first saw this when President Kibaki took over. My friend, people were happy. We were referred to by the Times Magazine as the most optimistic people on the planet.
Yes.
Okay? A year. The second year. We're heading towards a referendum, and that man had become unpopular.
Correct.
And yet, what Kibaki was doing was meaningful. He was not Moi, he wasn't doing what Moi did. Okay? Once Kibaki left, Uhuru came in. I have never heard of a man being praised like that man was praised. God was given all the glory.
Yes.
God had done a wonderful thing. That's when I heard of Mudamaki. I heard of Tam. I heard not long after that, you'd think Uhuru was the devil incarnate. It is a culture that we have. It has reached a peak in William Ruto's
term.
Yes. So I have to ask the question. There are people who seem to have this tendency of developing narratives that paint our presidents in a light that is almost, it almost speaks to the irredeemable quality of the person. Anybody who knows how development projects work, unfortunately the government doesn't tell you, by the time that thing begins as a project, oh my goodness, from the time it's proclaimed, it doesn't matter who's president, there's a process that takes time.
But Muhesh, what I'll tell you is when the president was campaigning, he promised Kenyans what I would call heaven on earth. And they, because he did all these charters, he went to all the 47 counties, then he met special groups, he met actors, he met artists, he met women, he met people with disability, and all these kinds of groups, and he promised them something. And they really, really had a lot of hope and promise in them, because they knew this person, comparing to the other president, what he has said, this guy is going to deliver it. And then when he got into power, people were expecting, like you have just said here, that they were expecting these things will happen overnight. Yeah. And the reality of the issue is, again, like we have said here, doesn't matter who's president, nothing happens overnight. But unfortunately, that is, from my opinion, that is how he had promised people. People were saying Mama Mboga atakuwa kwa serikali. Walikuwa nadhani Mama Mboga ndiye atakuwa CS wa I think maybe health. Mtu wa boda boda ndiye atakuwa CS wa interior and so on and so forth. So when that for them wasn't happening, then now they started asking, but I thought hii serikali ilikuwa ya ule mtu mdogo. Then you're seeing CSs with very expensive watches, expensive clothes, belts. People driving belts that are worth more than someone's entire salary for the last 50 years.
Well, I totally agree with you.
Yes.
I think it's also time, perhaps, as politicians, as we do campaigns, we also temper the expectations we raise amongst the people. It is true. During the campaign, sometimes people lose focus on what is possible once they get elected, and in the spirit of trying to outcompete your opponents,
yes,
you promise heaven on earth, and the Wananchi hold you on that as soon as you come in. Sometimes when you are not in that seat, it's just like football.
Yes.
Like you watch the World Cup every night.
Right.
And you see somebody failing to score and you say, oh God, this guy, if I were him, I would have scored that one. And perhaps if you were in that field, you would not have even touched the ball for the entire 90 minutes.
Yes.
So there is that kind of a spectator, kind of a mentality. And also, when you are not in that position and you don't know the impact and the difficulties that goes with it, you also think it's easy. That these guys are just, you were talking about Ndindi in the other show.
Yes.
And sometimes if you look at some of the clips during last campaigns and what he's saying today,
it's night and day.
Exactly.
Yes.
When we were having the I think it was the second multi-party or the first multi-party, we had these progressives like Mother Karua, Kivuda Kibwana, and everybody believed these guys, once they get into government,
yes,
things will instantly transform. But when they went into parliament for the first time, you see, look at the performance.
Yeah.
It became a different story.
Okay.
Mother Karua, for example, people started thinking, oh, but in any case, she was not that progressive. Perhaps she was just she's a pro-establishment herself because she was in government at that time. So sometimes there is that kind of a mentality where you think you can do better than the person who is on the throne. But when you go in the realities of that seat,
yes,
and the challenges that go with it, do you think it's very easy to pass some of these things the Wananchi want through parliament? There are a lot of vast interest. There are people from different regions with different interests in that parliament, and you'll go through hell and heaven before you manage to pass something that you want to pass.
Mheshimiwa, are there things when you were first elected you thought you could do?
Yes.
And once you are elected,
you realized uongo.
Yes. I thought, for example, like now, my party UDM is a coalition partner in Kenya Kwanza,
right?
Which basically means I'm in government. And I thought, being in government, you can walk into any government office
and make things happen
because you give them money in parliament.
Right.
You can go there and speak for your constituency and say, I want a water point here, I want a road here, and you easily get what you want.
Okay.
I tell you, it took me 4 years now
to realize.
4 years to lobby for a 5-kilometer tarmac road in my constituency. 4 years. It's just the other day that it was done, advertised, not yet done.
Oh, ndio inaanza.
Sasa.
It means the progress has been made. At least you now know.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So it's not easy at all. But when you are not there in the first place, you think, see, when I'm in the government, I'll just tell Waziri, hii ni project ya serikali, haraka. It doesn't work like that.
There's something my parents used to tell me about independence. And yes, and it compares very favorably with what people thought with the narrative that William Ruto campaigned on. What is lost, because it's political, is that the man was actually campaigning on issues. And he went further than any other politician has gone. He signed charters, which means the social contracts that we speak of, he documented it.
He committed himself.
Yes, now that is that now is the point at which he gets hit, because nobody else has ever done what he did to say, I am putting pen to paper on this. But what my parents told me was that people thought that when independence came, the Wazungus would leave all the houses they were living in and the Africans would move in. I said, really? He said, yes.
Those guys have titles.
What do you mean? So we've got independence. So they're leaving. So we will get... Yes. So I asked, okay, I was a child. It's when I was older that I now visited this thing and said, so how exactly were they all going to go into these houses that the colonialists, the settler, the colonists was leaving? He said nobody thought along those lines. They just knew that the things these people owned would be ours.
Yes.
I said, okay. So what does that mean? So they think that if there was a farm and they left, some people would take it over. He said, yes. Now, when that thing hit my head with the reality and I understood it, was the 1982 coup attempt. The pictures that were taken, and when the military and other security forces now went back to the estates to reclaim the things that had been stolen, I have never forgotten the picture of a man who was carrying on his back a fridge which was bigger than him. And the stories that followed, and how people were then found, they were going estate by estate.
Yes.
They were not shooting or beating up anybody. They would just ask you, this place doesn't have electricity and you have a TV. How do you plan to watch this TV?
Okay. You have a fridge.
Yes. Okay, you bought. Okay. For this TV, can you give us the receipt? You say you bought it. Receipt. Okay. Fridge again. You have no electricity. How do you plan to
use this device?
I'm saying it hit home. The things that you have wanted to own or have, people felt this was an opportunity that they had to now. It is something that, see, I saw it in Los Angeles when they had those riots. Well, I've seen it in places where there's been a lot of chaos. I saw it in the clips that I saw in South Africa, where in the name of getting rid of foreigners, people actually go looting on a looting spree. There's something about what it's called magic thinking in psychology, where you actually think that by virtue of this happening,
yes,
automatically other things that are beneficial to you and you envision them will automatically happen. Now the problem with that is this: if you see other people who seem to be doing what you envision would happen to you, you never ask what they have done to get what you're seeing to make it work. You only feel that they are taking something from you, and in reality they are not.
They're not.
You see, Mheshimiwa talked about the Somali community being treated as pariahs. Maybe in some part of the country I come from, they were not. Because the entire region had Somali people for a very long time doing business. On Lake Victoria, they started, before they started owning boats, they had these vehicles that have cold storage and they were doing fish business. But they started owning boats. They started taking fuel to islands that had not known as fuel depots. So it's an investment. Okay. What I'm saying is, there are people who instigate their citizens to look at life in a certain way and to consider other people in a certain way. After Tomboy was killed in 1969, there was an oathing that took place in Kiambu. It wasn't the first time that such an oathing was taking place. The oathing was that the leadership would not only leave that region, but people from a certain part of the country
would never leave.
Would never leave. Now, one takes lightly the impact of such things, but those things have a very long-lasting impact. Goonism, as we now understand it, matured, was incubated and grew in the regions of Nyanza and Western. You have to ask why. Why did young people go into that this thing we're talking about nationally, where young people do not know what to do. In an era gone by, people who are now in their 40s and towards 50s, when they were young, they had no jobs to speak of. There were no businesses. There were no industries to speak of. People saw being bouncers, being supposed security people for politicians as the way to go. And then, with our politics, these are the same young people who are engaged to fight each other when two politicians were vying for a seat. Now, if you give it time, it grows into an industry.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they set the example for other younger people, because when they look around, there isn't much they can see they're going to do. These are things that can be checked. And the county system of government was the one thing that was going to bring the solution that was much needed. But unfortunately, we elected people who had no interest whatsoever in making sure that the development the county citizens should have got to them. Because all the billions, it's now trillions, that have gone into the county system has not done what it should have done.
Okay. There's someone online, Mheshimiwa anasema you're an honest MP. And I think it's at the time where you admitted there are some things that perhaps UDA had promised and clearly hasn't delivered, and perhaps they won't deliver. But going forward, I want to understand one thing about the North. Power, steamer, electricity has been an issue.
Yes.
I sat here with the MP for Wajir, I think it was Wajir South, and he told me that only about 2% of his county has power. And that thing broke my heart. What is being done as far as power is concerned in the Northeastern?
I think that's a very, very two things, among many other things, are a lifeline for the people from that region right now. First of all, when you talk about opening up Northeastern, we have to have that road.
Okay.
You remember that road that has become a TikTok sensation?
Yes.
That road has to happen because that region, like I told you earlier, has not seen missionaries coming to help it, has not seen NGOs in the past coming to help it. It's only now they are surfacing. The successive governments have always looked at it as a non-productive area, which you don't have to waste a lot of resources on. So the people from the region have learned the hard way to do business, and they are living in a very strategic border area between Kenya, Ethiopia, and Somalia, and they can do a lot of business. Once they get that road, you'll see a lot of transformation in that region, business-wise and what have you. And the moment Somalia stabilizes, things will even become much better. The other thing that is now like a life support thing is electricity. There is basically nothing you can do without electricity nowadays in this country.
Very true.
The youths, and we have a very huge, bulging youth population in the region. Today, a lot of employers and even institutions which take up new students, they want everybody to apply online. The government has adopted the policy of doing tendering online.
Yes.
And if you don't have electricity in the region,
then you're not online.
Then you're not online.
For sure.
Which means the 90% of the population from the region is locked out as we speak from all of those opportunities. For a young person to join a university in Europe and he wants to apply online, he has to travel all the way from Mandera to Nairobi or to the nearest town which has electricity, like Garissa town, and do his stuff there. You know, incurring transport costs, incurring accommodation costs when he's away, and so many other costs that go with it, which the other youths from the country
are enjoying.
Yes. So that is one major thing. And then it is only Northeastern which is on the national grid. Wajir, Mandera are still on very old generation diesel engines, which keep on breaking down, especially when we are in drought season and there is excessive heat. Those machines were designed to run in cold areas.
Okay.
They require a lot of cooling systems and what have you, and they are old. You see, when I was working, before I became the MP, I was working with NGOs.
Okay.
And what our organization used to do is, you see, when they buy new laptops, they give it to the senior managers in Nairobi. And they ask them to pass the old machines
Now
to the people in the ground. Why, one day I told them, where do we need these new machines? Because when a laptop breaks down in Mandera, you don't have somebody to repair it.
Okay.
You have to bring it back to Nairobi to be repaired. But if it breaks down in Nairobi, they are already experts in the office.
Yeah.
Even where they are, they can do it.
There's an IT person there.
Exactly.
Right.
So who needs these new machines? Is it the or
the folks in the ground?
The folks in the ground.
Yeah.
So the same way, the electricity question is quite important for the people from the region. We don't need these old, outdated diesel engines, which are polluting our environment, which are also not very helpful to the people because they keep on breaking down every now and then. We are Muslims. Our mosques don't run without. You cannot even offer sermons in mosques without microphones. You cannot do morning and evening call for prayers without microphones.
That key speaker.
These people at the lower bottom of the pyramid that the government has promised will uplift them. The kinyozis, those people who are selling cold water, the garages who are welding vehicles, they cannot do their trade without electricity.
By the way, how do those guys trade?
Now a lot of people are investing in solar. So that they can manage and
kinyozi siku hizi kuna zile vinyozi za kucharge. Hii ingine umesema ya welding.
It's difficult. That's why gari yako ikivunjikia huko unaweka kwa lori unaleta Nairobi itengenezewe hapa at a cost of 60,000 transporting
just transport
alone
to have something worth 5,000 fixed.
Exactly. You see, those are some of the challenges we go through, and I wish a lot of Kenyans understand what we go through on a daily on a daily basis. So we have asked the president, we need electricity like yesterday, and he has listened. Actually, right now as we speak, the government is negotiating with Ethiopia.
Okay.
Because they have electricity they are selling to Kenya,
and they're closer.
Yes.
Like for example, the next grid which we can pull power from Mandera, it's about 7 kilometers.
7.
Hiyo
ni karibu sana.
So and Kenya has an agreement with Ethiopia on selling. They're already buying electricity through Ethiopia, Moyale, and then they're taking it all the way to Rift Valley.
Yes, I am aware of that particular
you see,
line. Yes.
And we are saying let this power not just pass through us and go to Rift Valley. Let it also itembe hapa, itupatie moto hapa karibu. And the president has listened. I think there's some discussions going on between Kenya and Ethiopia. The president has also launched a number of mini grids.
Yes.
Those off-grid areas, which are not on the main power line, can also have some small substations.
Yes.
The mini grids, which today we have insisted that there should be a hybridization kind of a program, so that it's not just solar alone. It's a combined solar and diesel engine, so that when there is bad weather and solar charging is low, we can use the diesel engine, and when there is a good solar whatever, we can use that. So there is an effort, but it is taking too long
because the opportunities that you are lacking because of lack of electricity.
Yes.
The industries that you could have
had. Oh my goodness.
Hiyo tu juu ya stima tu.
Elwak, for example, where the headquarter of my constituency
has
got the largest deposit of raw material that is used to make cement. And if you put up a cement factory in Elwak,
exactly,
and you have Ethiopia and Somalia, which don't have those cement factories nearer, you can sell a lot of cement to Ethiopia and Somalia. A lot of people would be in business.
Imagine the people that will be employed.
Yes.
Imagine again now that you've spoken of the opportunity to sell it in Ethiopia and and Somalia.
Exactly.
The transport vehicles that will transport those things.
Correct.
And that's not all.
The other people, the indirect employment that it will provide. Watu wa industry, watu wa mboga watakuja hapo. Yani the number of things you can open up. Yani
Correct. There's a lot of potential in that region. Yeah. Actually, we are looking at it as the future of this country, even in agricultural production.
Actually, it can be given first of all the acreage that is available in northeastern Kenya. That can easily be the breadbasket.
Mandera alone is 25,000 square kilometers. Twice, almost the size of Rwanda. and Burundi combined.
Okay.
If you talk of northeastern, it's like the entire Europe. And it's virgin land. It has not been exploited. We only need water, and it will become a bread basket for them.
It does have water. It doesn't have water.
Yeah.
It is what we are doing with the resource that has not been tapped.
Yeah.
True.
You really think that a place like Turkana, which is considered to be semi-arid, aquifer has been found in that region?
Yes.
They say the water is brackish. So what?
It's water. And we can do desalination.
Precisely. And you're told this is something that can supply water to the whole country for 30 years. So what makes you think you can only find that in Turkana and not find it in northeastern Kenya?
But there's a lot of water within the Earth's crust. They say there's actually more water down there than it is up here.
Yes.
All the oceans and seas and lakes combined cannot, match the water that is beneath us. So now, the other question, Muhesh, thank you for that one on, what the northeastern region needs. On the issue of goons, has been a national conversation now, almost on every radio, TV station, and of course in the newspapers. We are not talking about goons, even last year, same time. But now it's become a very big issue because we only knew of goons during Maandamano. Now we are seeing goons at any political gathering. Just the other day, they blocked part of Thika Road at Muthaiga there, collecting tax from road users. It's becoming a menace now. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Let me say one thing. I have a background in peace building. And, when you talk of peace, you can never have positive peace so long as certain indicators are in the country.
Okay.
You can never have a situation where you can say our society is totally peaceful. You get me?
Okay.
There is always an element of negative peace in our society if we have people who are sleeping hungry, people who are jobless, people who don't have a roof over their head, people who feel they are disenfranchised and they cannot make account for their vote because they believe their vote was stolen. So long as there are those conditions in a country,
yes,
you can never have a situation of total peace. So long as we have poverty and joblessness among the youths, and let me tell you, for example, the population question in northeastern region,
yes,
forget even about the entire country,
yes,
is a ticking time bomb. For example, Mandera is projected to have double the population it has today in the next 20 years.
Okay.
And we have a very big birth rate.
Yes.
A huge birth rate, almost the double the national the national average.
Okay.
So if we don't have jobs for these
folks,
yeah, if we don't have institutions where we can give them proper education so that they can have, if you have a skill and you have a certificate, at least there is hope. You can say I can present a certificate somewhere and get a job somewhere. But if you don't have a certificate and you have never gone to school and you have never had any skill, so to speak, this person is a hopeless person, and that's a very dangerous. It's a very dangerous person.
Yeah.
So we have that kind of a bulge of youth throughout the entire country. And then recently, when we talk about unemployment in this country, we produce almost 800,000 graduates every year, and we have no jobs to give to those youth who are graduating every year. So there is a pile of unemployed youth in every household, including my household. I have a number who are unemployed.
Okay.
And it's across the entire households in the country.
Yes.
What do you do with these young people? And then we have now AI and other technologies taking over those jobs which people used to do physically.
Yes.
So the white collar jobs and the other
blue collar ones,
the many youths who are looking forward to, once they get education, they will get absorbed into, are no longer there. And this is the reality that we have to understand. How do we now take care of these young people?
Yes.
In fact, the culture of Gunism, it's in a way right now it's being propelled by people, selfish individuals, whether politicians or traders or whatever, with interest to do certain things.
Yeah.
But soon it will become a self-propelling
industry.
You know, because if you don't have a job, you'll be coming to me and say, I have this capacity, I can knock people's heads off, and you have enemies. It becomes a trade. Fortunately, in my region, we don't have this problem yet.
Okay.
We don't have this problem yet, but we are not immune. Very soon, it will also start showing its ugly head, because the multiplier effect of what happens in the country reaches those regions very soon. You know
what your region had, which was unique, were bandits. Forget Al-Shabaab and all these whatevers. The likelihood of bandits accosting people
on the roads.
Yes, but I haven't heard of it in a very long time.
No, it is. You see, a lot of youths, even those ones from the region, they're here.
Yes.
So you see, Nairobi has taken on everybody from
everywhere,
the rest of the country.
Yes. True.
And that is why the problem in Nairobi and suburbs of Nairobi is going to become more hated.
Yeah.
So in our region, despite our problems, religion is still holding.
Yes.
Like, for example, where I come from, Northeastern, is different from Northwestern, Turkana Pokot.
Yes.
In Turkana Pokot, you see, they still steal cattle from each other. But you'll not hear about cattle thefts in Northeastern.
No.
And you're both pastoralists.
And we are both pastoralists. The difference is the Islam as a religion has managed to contain some of the social ills that affect our people. Because if an imam stands in a mosque and says, certain butcher is selling meat from stolen animals, that guy will close shop.
Mwenyewe tu. Customers
hawatakuja.
Hiyo si halal. Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
So I think we need to have a national conversation on this question of Gunism, and the law has also to take its action.
Okay.
Because if anybody is sponsoring goons, it might sound like a small problem in a quad or in a constituency now, but those small problems, when there are many, it becomes a national problem.
Very true.
You consider what we had in the north and west part of the country, and consider Mungiki. Banditry involved young people, not old.
Yes.
The Mungiki menace was young people.
Yes.
So the question is, when you see that upsurge going down, it tells you something has happened that has made it go down. And perhaps, as you say, a national conversation is overdue.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for making time.
Asante.
Give us your parting shot as we close down for this hour.
My parting shot is Northeastern, politically speaking now, because I'm a politician.
Yes.
Is going to play a very big role in the next election as a swing region.
Votes, yes.
We are going to be part of the coalition of tyranny of
numbers,
minorities. The minority groups in northern Kenya,
yes,
Somalis being one of them, is going to be a deciding factor in the next election.
Okay.
And maybe it's because of that reason that the national parties have started giving attention to the Northeastern. And I will tell the other Kenyans, Somalis are Kenyans. We are part of this country. We belong. We are trying very hard to be integrated as the rest of Kenya. And we want other Kenyans to embrace Somalis as their brothers and sisters. Let politics not be a divisive factor for us. But watch Northeastern. We are going to be a major deciding factor in the next election.
I like the sobriety with which you approach this issue, so we invite you again.
Thank you very much.
And then tutembelee zaidi.
Asante, nitatembea.
All right. Here's the news with Winnie Maganga.
This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. Lawyer and Dagoretti South MP aspirant Fanyamambo Kinuthia has criticized elected leaders who skip important parliamentary votes. He says MPs should take clear positions on issues affecting Kenyans instead of avoiding accountability. Kinuthia argues that lawmakers who fail to vote on major bills deny their constituencies proper representation and should not seek re-election.
You must have a spine. We cannot say, like Dende Nyoro, you wake up every day, you are backing, oh, problems, finance bill, a lot of economics, jaggerish. And then on the night, on the day when you are supposed to use your vote, you know, you can't come and tell people, bei ya unga imepanda, bei ya unga. Then we tell you now, today, here is the vote. Vote for or against bei ya unga. Then you run away. So on the day you're supposed to make a decision about Wanjiko, the person who woke up at 5 a.m. for you, conveniently, you are somewhere in London. Sisi tumeambia our MPs 187. When Finance Bill 2024 was happening, they abstained from voting. When this other Finance Bill of 2025-2026 was happening, they abstained from voting. So anything called voting, they are averse to it. I have news for you, Dende Nyoro, and those people who abstain from voting. On the 10th of August 2027, we have something called voting. Abstain from that one as well. Don't vote yes, don't vote yes. Don't even offer yourself. Because Kenyans have decided you have a problem with a process called voting.
Police are investigating an incident in which a 26-year-old woman was seriously injured after falling from the third floor of an apartment building in Nairobi's Kilimani area. The woman was taken to hospital unconscious on Saturday night after reportedly falling from a window at an apartment on Dennis Pratt Road. Police say preliminary investigations show she had been partying with friends before the incident, which happened under unclear circumstances. Kitutu Chache Member of Parliament Anthony Kibagendi has called for the immediate prosecution of police officers attached to Keumbo Police Station, accusing them of involvement in the attack on the Linda Mwananchi team last week. Speaking on NTV Today, Kibagendi claims police officers took part in throwing stones at the convoy. He says several persons in the Linda Mwananchi team have recorded statements over the incident.
The police officers, actually we have photos of police officers, and we are calling upon the Inspector General. All the police officers at Keumbu Police Station need to stand in court, need to appear in court. They were part of the people who are throwing stones. And we have a few photos of some of these police officers that were involved in the attack. Dr. Birundu recorded a statement, and a few other people that were injured have recorded statements. And just beyond that, police officers are supposed to provide security.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has ordered the quick hiring and posting of chiefs and assistant chiefs to new administrative areas in Samburu County to help improve security. Speaking at a chat service in Maralal on Sunday, Murkomen told the county commissioner to finish interviews within a week so the successful applicants can start work immediately. The move follows the establishment of new administrative units, including Samburu West Sub-County with Lusuk as its headquarters.
Tumeongea na mbunge wenu hapa kwa mambo ya administrative units, amenipatia divisions ambayo amesema tutangaze. Mimi nitatangaza kabla ya mwisho wa mwezi huu divisions mpya ambayo nimeambiwa na location na sub-locations. Nimetangaza pia kwamba Samburu nzima ile tulikuwa tumegazette locations, divisions kwa the entire Samburu ikuwe immediately operationalized, na nimempatia directive county commissioner ahakikishe advertisement ya chiefs na assistant chiefs wote ambao walikuwa wametangazwa ifanywe ndio wakuje wasaidie kwa mambo ya security.
And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast, curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast, your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Welcome back. It is now 8 minutes past 9 o'clock. How are you doing? Hope you're still with us. And I can see a couple of you are still with us. So asanteni tena sana. Salamu zifikie the following folks. Let me just find them. DK. DK, how are you doing? Sitasoma hii comment yako.
The things that bring us into the spotlight of the media council and their cousins. Abana.
Nisisome.
Wacha tu aseme wote anamesema tuache hapo tu. No. Hakuna haipati airtime.
Atika habari yako hata zako sitasoma. Baba Girls anasema great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events and small minds discuss people. Hiyo yako anaweza soma. Chris Njoroge, how are you doing? Ivan Sonyango, sasa Ivan amesema I would agree if Garissa to Mandera and Garissa to Liboi roads are tarmacked, then the two borders at Mandera and Liboi opened for trade. Government of Kenya can reap in huge revenues in tax. Evans, I agree with you 150%. Hapo niko na wewe. DK kuna kitu amesema destroying Meru forest is a calculated strategy to impoverish residents by ruining the water catchment. Authorities force the displacement of those who depend on it. Hii kitu ya Meru forest hii uko imenti. Anyway, Nixon Otieno, wacha nione kama yako naweza soma. Yes, naweza soma. Amesema Nixon alikuwa anauliza fanya mambo to share more on Timol Bridge, which was built by Uhuru, and it is the same Spanish company that has done the Junction Bridge, which has been done by Ruto. Yeah, and he did alitouch on that a little bit, hiyo ya Timol. Tuliongelelea na hata sitini alianza hiyo conversation ya Timol, by the way. Then unajua zingine lazima usome before usome. Brian Bruno, how are you doing? Nitakusalimia tu lakini nikubali nisisome sababu ninaona umeongelesha Atticus hapo.
Amewakisha moto.
Hiyo ni conversation yake na Atticus. Hizo nitaziachia hapo. And then my take amesema ati you gave Raila 1 million votes. Kiambu is part cosmopolitan daddy. You remember when Kinodia said that the Kikuyu community gave Raila about 1 million votes? I think he said 1 million votes. He said 1 million votes.
You know, the issue of the votes in central Kenya must be understood in the light of the demographics of that particular. And if you're talking about Kiambu County, remember Jujan, the environs also in Kiambu County. For the longest time, they had sisal, they had all these farms. And among the people who worked in large numbers in those farms were Luos, Kisis, Luyas, and Kamba. So when you're talking about the population, the person who is commenting there is right. There's a good mix.
Yes.
And that number hasn't decreased over time. No, it hasn't.
Yeah.
You see, our voting and the outcomes of our votes are not the same thing. No.
True.
No. And this one, IBC cannot be blamed. We incubate that culture within the political parties and how we go about the business of nominating, selecting, doing what.
Yeah.
So we introduce people to a process that is flawed within our political parties. So it is very easy to carry on that same practice into the elections or the national elections. Yes.
All right. Anasema hiyo mkupatia Raila 1 million votes. Raila alijitafutia kura.
That discussion of what was given and what was not given, that one I refuse to comment on that one for the simple reason
yes,
that every time we've had an election
yes,
since the advent of multipartism, okay, the only election that people could not point their fingers and dispute was the 2002 elections.
Okay.
And the elections that took place in 1992 and 1997.
Yes.
Again, Moi won, fair and square. We didn't have...
No rigging, nothing.
No, forget the rigging bit. I'm not even introducing rigging.
Okay.
I'm talking about the win. When you're talking about, we didn't have a 50+1.
Okay.
We just had first
majority hivyo tu.
First yule ambaye amepata the most. Hiyo tu.
Wewe ukipata 2 wengine wamepata 1. Wewe ndio president.
Yes, so he won. Fair and square.
Okay.
Yes.
Mukasa Meshak unfortunately ameuliza fanya mambo na fanya mambo ametoka, but ameuliza fanya mambo hivi. Fanya mambo. Tell me 3 reasons why you support Gachagua or why you think he is a great leader. As unfortunately he is not here to answer that question, so the next time we host him tamwambia wewe fanya mambo. Kuna mtu aliuliza hapa tupatie 3 reasons why. Ama kama fanya mambo unasikia, you can text me the 3 reasons that you support, the reasons why you support Gachagua, alafu nitaweza kuzisoma. Anyway, our guest in studio for this particular hour is youth leader and the civil rights advocate Bwana James Mulamba. James, good morning and welcome back to Radio Generation.
Good morning.
Uko salama kabisa?
Niko salama, labda nyinyi.
Mimi niko fiti pia.
Yes.
Now, Siti atakupatia methali kama ilivyo desturi.
Yes.
Alafu tuingie kwa mambo mengine.
Our proverbs for the whole of this week will be from the continent of Africa, so as to avoid unnecessary backlashes. I am not going to state where the proverbs are from. I will simply read them out and tell you they are from Africa. Now you can figure out. What you'll find, though, that many of these proverbs chime with people from across the continent. Well, let me read this first one and tell me whether you think it chimes with the other people in the continent.
Okay.
A poor man knows he is poor, but a poor woman thinks she is just with the wrong man. Yeah.
I am surprised as to why you don't want to mention the country where this proverb
I am not mentioning any country.
I am guessing it's from South Africa or Nigeria.
Why not Kenya?
No, given that currently South Africa is not in the best books with most Africans. But yeah, that proverb speaks to the heart of the problems we face as young people today, especially as a young man in the dating scene. I will relate it to myself personally. See, a young man or a man in the world, anywhere in the world, is taught to work hard for their monies, to work hard to achieve something, to build family, to build wealth. But for a long time, our women and our girls have been taught the wrong education. They have been taught to over-rely on men, that men are the providers and the protectors, and that their role in this world is to caregiving and probably siring children. And this has gotten us on the wrong trajectory, given that after feminism happened and the fight for women's rights happened over the 1800s and 1900s, women generally achieved almost equal rights as men.
Yes.
They go to school now, they get job opportunities just like we do.
Yes.
But then to them it is never really, that syllabus has never really changed about who should provide in a house. Now they have the same opportunities just like we do.
Yeah.
They have gone to school just like we do. They earn just like we do. Some of them even earn more than we do. But unfortunately, they're still stuck to the old mentality that a man should provide. We can't share bills even if they're making money. And their financial struggles are tied to their particular boyfriend or husband. So she needs to get better.
Kwanza ujaribu kuambia demu wa Nairobi ati tugawane bills.
Yes.
Umeachwa.
So she needs to get better. And that's why they get it wrong. So we have equal opportunities for jobs and for education now.
Yes.
I'm not addressing myself to the past. As I'm addressing myself to the present. We have equal opportunities for jobs and for education, and you guys actually earn more than us in most of these careers. But you guys don't want to split bills, but you want to split everything else.
Okay.
And that's why that's why
you resonate with this proverb.
Yeah, that's why it misses me that these guys want to share. Okay, these ladies want to share everything. They want us to be equal in everything, but they don't want to split bills. They don't want us to be equal in providing.
They are very selective about this affirmative action.
Yes, they are very selective about what is to be split and what is to be shared and what is not to be shared.
Ikitu imeuma James sana ikitu.
As a young man in the business,
he had given a disclaimer. He was speaking about himself. You see, my generation think differently.
Yeah, they do, unfortunately. Unfortunately. And
why is it unfortunate?
Well, let's take it back to the top. In the 1900s, well, all you needed as a man was a good herd of cattle and a big chunk of land. That was enough to marry any woman, whether you are 18 or at 17. Today, the demand is just so high. The demand is different in a diverse world where, apart from having a herd of cattle or land, they also need you to have money to pay for tuition,
their hair,
their nails, to sustain the expensive lifestyle that their parents could not even sustain. Pay black tax to your siblings and their siblings, and that's just too much for the modern man.
Why do you speak with so much pain?
It's painful.
No, you see, my generation enjoyed the prospect. This is the thing.
As a student of Andrew Kibe and Amerix, I will stand my ground and tell you that if we went back to what we had in the 1900s, when women were submissive, when women were not fighting with men or competing with men, let me use that word, when they were not competing with men for education opportunities or for economic opportunities, all they had to do was sire children and take care of them. If we go back to that situation and all the man has to do is provide, that will be the best case scenario, and we could now come back to the old rules. But in a world where women are competing with men for land, for
the same
employment
resources.
Opportunities, same resources and education opportunities, they don't get to choose what to split. And that's hypocritical of them. Then if they have to maintain that stand, then how about we go back to the past? You guys should not go to school. You guys should not share land with us. You guys should not compete for the few economic opportunities we have. Wacha wanaume wote wafanye kazi, wasichana na wamama wote wakae nyumbani, alafu tu split. Alafu sasa watuambie sasa provide. We will provide.
Aye. Tutakuita tuongee juu ya relationship siku ingine. Wacha leo tuongee mambo mengine. We? Aya, sawa. I saw you on a clip somewhere. And you were talking about President Ruto, the fact that he's a born again Christian, and you were saying that perhaps he shouldn't. He just because you're a born again Christian doesn't necessarily make you a good leader. Maybe for those who didn't get to hear that, can you just explain what exactly did you mean?
Okay. See, as a Christian myself,
are you a born again Christian in the definition of how we understand it out here?
I would comfortably say so.
Okay.
Though the situation has not always been rosy. I was an atheist, an agnostic, when I was trying to find myself. And I had a problem reconciling the grown-up me and the child me. Okay. The child me was indoctrinated into Christianity. I was welcomed into Christianity. So at one point in my life, I was asking myself, if I was born in an Indian family, would I be Christian today? If I was born in a Muslim family, would I be Christian today? And most of my reflections around that era, around 2020, 2019, drove me out of church to 2020.
Okay.
I was an agnostic. At one time I thought there isn't enough to know about God. At one time I think my persuasion drove me to atheism. I didn't think we have God. And then the Damascus moment happened, I think after a lot of soul searching, I realized we've not tackled the story of the historicity of Jesus Christ enough. And the conviction was in Jesus Christ, in that he existed and that there are genealogical records that he existed.
Okay.
And going through his life, I think I was convinced he was more than a man.
All right.
And that was enough to probably give me the challenge and the wake-up call. And I came back to Christianity. But I feel fulfilled as a Christian, having gone through that journey. I don't feel like I had to choose Christianity, or it was imposed on me by my parents, or I had to choose it just because I did not have any other option. I took time to explore the rest of the other religions. I don't want to say I don't understand why people believe in them, but then everyone should do their soul searching. And at one point, I think this country needs to rediscuss religion. I don't think children should be encultured into religion na ifunzwe kama subject as CRE or Islamic education na iekewe mtihani yake. I think people should be left alone to grow. Then they can choose for themselves when they grow up which religion they would want to be part of. But then going back to that question, see, since I have taken time to study the Bible, Christianity, Jesus Christ, and so on, and as someone who professes Christianity, I expected the president or anyone who claims to be a Christian or averse Christianity to have a better moral standard than the rest of us. One, a Christian should not be a liar. To a Christian should not be as deceptive as this guy is. 3, I expected a Christian's morals to be beyond reproach. Not that anyone is perfect though. And I genuinely expected more from a Christian president as compared to what we've had before. They said his predecessor was a drunkard and cared little for religion. Then here we have a Bible-wielding president. Shouldn't the situation be different? Shouldn't it be better? And now he is even building a church in State House. So I expected, now that we have one of our own, let's say we have one of our own, one who loves God just like he loves the rest of us, I expected that he would call out extrajudicial killings, that he would voice concern about abductions and torture, that he would not tolerate the excesses we see in government, and that he would espouse the Christian values we profess in church. But I don't see that from this regime. It's said from the mouth, but it does not come from the heart. If it comes from the heart, you would see it. And because of that disconnect, I think I was having a hard time trying to reconcile a Christian president who's supposed to deliver a beautiful leadership and the current leadership we have that professes Christianity. Given that the second lady is a bishop, I think, or is she a reverend, and she prefers praying to pushing for solutions and policies to some of the problems we have. So I was having a hard time as a Christian myself looking at the current leadership. Nana Juliza, if this is the example of leadership from Christian presidents or Christian leaders, say CSS and stuff, probably we need to try different, because I think to some extent, our Muslim friends have shown us that they have better values, or they show it, or they practice it better than Christians. Maybe we need to try a Muslim president or a Muslim leader for once, because Christianity, it has not delivered, or perhaps we have the wrong Christian in power. Yes.
Can I draw a parallel for you?
Yes.
Let's look at the institution of the Christian church, and let's look at the leadership of the Christian church in this country. And let's look at some of the people we see on our televisions and we hear who profess to be Christian. Some profess to be prophets. Some call themselves evangelists. Some call themselves men of God. Some women of God. And we look at the behavior of some of them, not all of them, some of them. Would you then not say that there are some who you actually wonder how it is people even still go to that church to listen to the things that they have to say, because everything about them seems very contrary to the manual of operation that they have. It's called the Bible. Okay? And yet they purport to be Christian. So you have to ask. And the question you say about the person, and you have to ask, is this person just purporting to be a Christian and yet because they found it is convenient? Or are they really Christians? Because if they were, then their lives ought to reflect some of those values that we believe this particular faith holds as key tenets in its theology.
See, it's confusing. Ni kama Christianity has been taken for a ride by most people in Kenya. See, I know I don't have to drop names, but I will at one point. See, for example, the Panda Mbegu 310
Bishop Kanyari.
Anaitwa Kanyari. The guy confesses years later, almost 10 years after
the scandal,
soliciting tithes from all of us. Well, I didn't contribute. I think my discernment drove me to concluding this is not the right man. But after 10 years of contributing or soliciting tithes from Kenyans,
yes,
he now confesses, oh, you guys should know I was poor. I just needed money, and you guys just happened to come along, and well, thank you. It's been a good ride, and from now henceforth, I don't think I'll be needing your offerings and tithes. And now he says, in my church, you guys should not contribute anything. I think I have enough, so I will be distributing what I have to the needy. Someone who was needy before, I'll be feeding people and probably paying for your tuition. And it appears to make sense to someone who's brain dead. But to me, it just doesn't augur well that you are poor. You don't want to work for a living. You don't want to honestly earn a living. You don't want to struggle like the rest of us. But you conveniently rush to Christianity or to the religion that has the most gullible people. And you convince them to offer tithes and offering and so that you get enough for your lifestyle. And then when you have had enough, you start redistributing the cash. Does it even make sense?
People actually forget that his mother went to jail for similar crimes. But continue.
So you see, that's one example.
Yeah, she went to prison. She served in prison.
She got a scholarship.
Yeah, alienda huko.
Kanyari says now he wants to vie for an MP seat, I think at Kasarani. And he's been using his money well, his money in quotes, remember? He's been doing some community work, social work at Kasarani, fixing some drainage here and there, supporting some charity homes, children homes and stuff. But the character and the history of Kanyari should not be forgotten. Because when they do, the people of Kasarani, because they might elect him as MP. If Ronald Karauri, the current MP, vies for the gubernatorial seat. So if the people of Kasarani decide to vote for Kanyari, given his history, they just decide to be amnestic and decide to vote him in. Do you think do you think he's the best man for the job? Do you think their lives will change now that another hypocrite who just knows how to hibernate better has become an MP?
Well, the people of Kasarani know better.
They don't know better. That's for a fact. If they decide to vote him in, they don't know better. Because I have made this argument and this proposition before. We've judged leaders with the wrong metric over and over again. It is not supposed to be about your education background. It is not supposed to be about your eloquence and charisma. I know all that matter. But when we throw away character and integrity for beautiful words, for resplendent speeches, for charisma, for aggressiveness, that's why we lose it. Because the people who voted for William Ruto, because I did not vote for him, there are guys who actually have voted for William Ruto 4 times, as deputy president 3 times, and as president in 2022. Those guys failed us because they did not look at his character. When we questioned his character, they told us ni mwizi wetu. They told us tutaamuka mapema. They told us tutamwapisha na notes za CRA. And that's why we get it wrong. So if the good people of Kasarani do not question the integrity and the character of whoever they want to elect, we're going to have another, I don't want to use that word. We're going to have another inutile MP in parliament in 2027 who's not going to contribute to the betterment of this country. Kanyari is not going to come up with better laws, better policies, and they are not going to, he is not going to turn around the Kasarani we know into the beautiful Canaan it's supposed to be. And that will be the problem in every other constituency, in every other county where citizens decide to ignore the character of and integrity of most of these leaders just because they speak better, they dress better, they are more eloquent, or they have charisma or better appeal.
You know, here we are enjoying some of the benefits of democracy. We are enjoying some of the freedoms that are actually guaranteed to us by our 2010 Constitution. Yes. If I may just leave our country briefly and go to the US, where their current president has been endorsed by some thoroughly right-wing Christians. And what they have introduced as their point of conversation is forgiveness. Because every time people have pointed to the bizarre things that have been said their president has been involved in, they bring in forgiveness. A beautiful tenet when it comes to the Christian faith, and something that is fundamental to the faith. However, having forgiven, must we overlook?
So that's the problem. When Jesus said you must forgive, was it 70
times 7?
70 times 7 times.
70 times 7.
I don't remember the exact verse.
7 times 7. But the point is this: even if you have forgiven,
umeongeza 7 yako mahali.
Bro, since we are dealing with 7, even you are
I was just beginning to air out my opinion. I think we've misconstrued that.
Yes.
Some people think we need to forgive indefinitely. They say 77 times 7 is probably 600 times, so we should forgive these guys probably to infinity. And that's why we get it wrong. As a person who believes in forgiveness, I think there should be a limit. I don't think Jesus told us it should be to infinity. And I don't think forgiveness is
a free pass.
Is a free pass
yes.
for... probably you have past evils, or forgiveness should be conflated with forgetfulness. We can forgive, let's say we can agree to forgive, but then does that erase your past? Does that make you a better person now? Because probably your character just never changed. You probably hibernated. And that's why I'm saying we've misused the Christian religion, and we need to rethink this.
Actually, that manual of operation for the Christian faith called the Bible tells you that you shall know them by their fruits. Okay?
Yes.
So the issue of character is also central.
Yes.
You can't be a Christian and yet you continuously do things that run contrary to that faith.
Yes. And I think I'm reminded by a comrade here that the leaders who profess the Muslim religion, who are in government today, are no better. They have mentioned Aden Duale, Ali Hassan Joho, Amina Mohammed, Najib Balala. You remember he was involved in that scandal, Pesa Tourism Fund and the Utalii College. As for Aden Duale and Ali Hassan Joho, that goes without explaining. And we have the governors from the northeastern region. You have the Isiolo governor who bought a crate of soda for 1 million shillings. And the list goes on. So I think he's making a good point that probably the problem is not religion. The problem is those guys
the
who
individual
use religion, who mask themselves
Actually,
with religion to appeal
is that
to
really
Kenyans.
is that really the problem? Because if we are discussing democracy and what it is that it means in our context, if I look at one of the biggest gains post the reintroduction of multipartyism in Kenya was the one thing that I'm seeing now, and that is what the agitators for multipartyism did. They were holding that government to account. They were not letting them get away with whatever they were saying. They were saying, no, this is not it. This is not it. Where we dropped the ball was when those who are agitators then got into positions of authority within government. So the agitation stopped.
So as I conclude on this topic about religion, I think going forward, we should not use religion as a tenet for good leadership. You could be, you could profess Islam, and Christianity, and not be the right man for the job. I'm not saying we should have an atheist president. I'm just saying probably religion does not cut it out for us. And going to the conversation about democracy, From Jaramogi's Not Yet Uhuru to Raila's Flames of Freedom to the recent inaugurated book From Mau Mau to Ruto Must Go, I think the conversation is not yet over. And indubitably, the fight is far from over. And the prize for democracy, as they have said, is a turn of vigilance. And perhaps democracy is not safe if we stop fighting for it. And before we get to that, then we have to ask ourselves, then what is democracy? Because some would say the majority have their way. Some will say a government for the people, by the people. And probably those definitions just don't cut it for us. Or probably they defined another democracy, and we need to redefine what truly democracy is. Because from 1963 to this day, some might argue democracy has died. Others might argue democracy is quite much alive in East Africa, given their uprisings, given that we have a beautiful new constitution and that we have made paces from 1963. But then if you would ask me, I would say democracy to me is the guarantee that even the weakest of citizens can challenge government and can challenge bad leadership using the constitution. Using the law instead of violence. And that is the junction we find ourselves today. That we've come a long way from 1963 to this day, but it appears the fight is far from over. We keep fighting, we keep bleeding, and we keep showing up every day.
There are those who argue that perhaps democracy wasn't designed for Africans. And they're talking about the entire continent.
Which democracy?
Democracy ya America. Unaona hii demokrasia tuko na president, tunakuja kupigia president kura. Perhaps and again this is what is being suggested out there. You see how they do it in a place like the UK, where the majority party, the party with the majority forms government.
A parliamentary system.
Hiyo sasa yenye wanaita sijui ni Westminster ama sijui nini.
Yeah, sure.
It's
the same system in South Africa. And I think the president for, is it Zimbabwe, Emerson Mnangagwa, pushed his government to adopt that system. So now the citizens will not go through a universal suffrage vote again.
So we have, like, for example, UDA ndio ilikuanga na the majority, ama ilikuanga ni ODM, sijui ni gani, but whichever forms has the majority members of parliament, they get to decide the president. So that we can stop this whole issue of tribalism or mtu wetu syndrome. So that ODM wakiamua today it's Raila, and then after a while they decide it is Simba Arati, and then after another time they decide sijui nani mwingine ako ndani, Onyonka, Senator Onyonka anakuwa president. I don't know.
I think the Americans came to this problem a long time ago, and they, in their wisdom, decided, apart from using the universal suffrage way of getting in the president, they also need to use an electoral college. When I decided to propose that, some people said, oh, you guys just want to copy-paste everything. Then I asked them, well, has it worked elsewhere? They said, yes, it has worked. So why don't you want to try it in Kenya? Why not have an electoral college in Kenya? They said, oh, we don't think we are ready for that.
Ready?
That's what most of
what
those
is this
that
thing
were
that
anti.
we need to see to
be ready,
to tell us that, to inform us that we are ready?
See, when someone wants to fight an idea, they will attack anything and everything. They will clutch at straws just to fight the idea. But coming back to the proposition that we should get to a parliamentary system, if you'd ask me, I don't think we need a parliamentary system. It appears necessary, but then what then happens if you have a parliament that favors a particular candidate who is not for the people? Say, for example, currently we have a parliament that favors William Ruto.
Yes.
So if, let's say, we abolish the universal suffrage and get to a parliamentary system, then one candidate disproportionately controls most of the members of parliament, and they decide to vote him in for us. You see, they are the ones choosing.
Yes.
And they are choosing whoever they want. And whoever they want is not for the people. So where does that leave the people? When we look at the example in South Africa, you know, it's common talk that the presidents of South Africa do not work for South Africans. By that I mean the black majority.
Yes.
You know who pulls the strings in South Africa. You know who funds these presidential candidates, and you know who ultimately pushes or influences our MPs vote in South Africa.
Yes.
And that's how they've gotten 3 puppets to this day. The current one is a puppet, the one before him, and the one that was before him. And I would want Julius Malema to become the president of South Africa one day, but that might not happen given that they have a parliamentary system, and he has to have a majority of MPs who will be aligned to him, and they have to want the same thing. See, Malema, for example, is pushing for economic rights to the people of South Africa.
Yes.
He's pushing for is pushing for is it called reparations to the people of South Africa, and restitution, and is also calling for the return of land to the black majority who are the initial owners of the land. But then what then happens if the MPs who keep getting elected into the South African parliament are puppets for other people, and they do not want Malema as president because they're answering to specific masters? That
Shouldn't he, and this is a question, shouldn't he then work towards ensuring that he has a majority representation in parliament?
You see, Malema started with around, I think, 13 MPs. How many does he have today?
How many?
More than 30, I think.
Okay.
That tells you he's made strides. And he started by making a sober decision of walking out of ANC. After coming to the realization that this is not our party, this is not owned by South Africans, and this would not deliver the South Africa we want. I can say, if it so happens that he never becomes president, South Africa will have lost the best man for the job. Probably someone else will come up after him, probably in Ndlovu or somebody else. But at this particular point, if I was South African and if we were using the universal suffrage way of voting, I would vote for Julius Malema 100 times if that can be allowed.
Okay.
Because, see, the guys who actually want to fight for a better Africa either get alienated, deposed, or outright murdered,
killed. Yes.
You are either deposed like Thomas Sankara, or murdered like Patrice Lumumba, or alienated like Julius Malema, and they paint you as the enemy. And it's it's a survival mode for those guys who still pull the strings. When you have the resources, you control the narrative.
They think it's survival mode, but actually it is
a ticking time bomb.
Yes, it is, because they are actually promoting their own extinction. You see, when the vast majority of your people do not benefit from the system that you have embraced, you are just marking time. The Nordic countries fought each other continuously for centuries, not decades. They were constantly at war. They had to go to other countries and say, guys, can you colonize us so that we can so that we can have some semblance of peace. They had kings, they still do, but if you look at their form of democracy, they have a nice mix and match to suit them. They have constitutional monarchies, meaning there's a king and so forth, but again, there's a king, okay? They have a parliamentary system, but then again, they are very big on consensus building, meaning, if you look at the way they run themselves, okay? This idea of what we call public participation, it's taken seriously. You want to make a decision, there's going to be public participation.
Sure.
The other country that had those sorts of fights is Switzerland, small tiny country. Oh man, the way those fellows used to fight each other. Okay? They formed a government and a system of democracy that suits them. For instance, they have rotational presidents.
Yes, the Federal Council.
They've understood this
and
thing.
We need to get to that.
Yes, they've understood it. Because what is this thing that we fight for? The presidency. That's what we're fighting for.
Yes.
Okay?
Distribution of resources.
We have county governments. We ignore them completely, and yet they are the engines to this development that we keep talking about. Okay, so the thinking. I thank Alas for his thing. He said, the thing that ails Kenyans is we don't have thinkers. According to him, and I asked him, what do you mean? He said, but when you have thinkers, They don't stop thinking and working out ways in which we can make our society better. The Americans came up with that system of government because they wanted freedom from Britain. Okay? Don't think that those people who, whether it was 13 people who actually wrote that constitution, who formed it, you don't think there was no backlash. There was a backlash. People were jailed, people were hounded, there was a backlash. They paid a steep price for it. Okay? Now, when we're talking about our country, we're talking about our democracy, and people limit their discussion to, is it parliamentary or is it presidential? Brother, proportional representation, what does it mean? There are ways in which you can have these discussions about what suits us. The county government and the thinking behind it, in my opinion, was good.
Yes.
It was very good.
Yes.
But how do you strengthen it? Japan has a county system like ours. In fact, the numbers of counties they have are almost the same as ours here. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is the equitable share to the counties are? 60%.
We
Now-
are 20%, I think.
Yeah, me personally, let it just stay at 20% because these guys have no clue what to do with the money they get. I am quite happy with the 20%. Let them show they can manage the 20% before you start giving them another. Yes, please. Let them understand that this money is intended for people. What I'm actually saying is this. We have to think and think very hard and think seriously about what we think will work for us. Okay? Something which, and it must involve the plebiscite. It must involve the Mwananchi and the consultation. As decisions are made, this is what we are thinking. What do you people think? And you get feedback. Then you approach it. This top-down approach that we've had since independence, because that's what we've had.
I don't know, James, what do you think we need?
Let me just attack the conversation from a different angle. You see, when people get tired of fighting for a better country or for a better democracy, they unnecessarily decide or make a decision that perhaps we should try a different system of leadership.
Yeah.
And that's why they entertain the idea about dictatorship.
A benevolent dictator.
So they in their thinking imagine that Kenya will have a Lee Kuan Yew, Kenya will have a Chairman Mao, or a Xi Jinping, or what's the name for the South Korean president?
I do not know who the president is currently.
Are you talking about south or north?
South, not north.
You know, those people have a record of jailing their president. So,
huko wanafunganga watu.
So, see, I just introduced that topic because the current president wants to take us to Singapore, and probably in his eyes, he thinks Kenya deserves a dictatorship. He just doesn't want to say it boldly. And for some lazy thinkers, I think they come to the conclusion that Kenya needs a dictatorship because they think democracy is not working for them.
Yes.
Then I need to remind them that we have no assurance that whoever becomes a dictator becomes a benevolent one. We have no assurance we'll have our own Paul Kagame. Well, he has his weaknesses. We have no assurance we'll have our own Traore or Xi Jinping. Because remember when the Gen Zs in 2024 said kufa dereva kufa makanga, and we said both the president and the deputy needs to go home. Then constitutionally power was supposed to transition from the presidency to the chief justice. Was it the chief justice or the speaker of the National Assembly? But then some were quick to argue that it is perhaps possible that the military will take over when we depose the presidency. And they said the military should take over. After all, we are tired with the leadership of civilians. Then I reminded them that we have no assurance that whoever takes over from the military will be a benevolent leader, because the military is a dictatorial regime. That's without question.
That is how they
What
are structured.
assurance do we have that the military dictator who will take over after we depose these two guys will be a benevolent one? Because there's no assurance for the same. And that's why the idea for dictatorship looks not so rosy to me. Because if you get the wrong dictator, let's say we want dictators, what happens when we get the wrong dictator? He will overstay in power, just like Moi did.
He will plunder the country.
He will plunder the country. He will be corrupt, and his administration will be corrupt, and no one will question anything.
Hakuna
And they will
kitu
shoot you down for protesting. You will not call for accountability. Decisions can be made that do not favor the country, and you'll have no recourse. In a dictatorial regime and in a military regime, the courts matter little because the constitution is suspended in some cases. Your civil liberties are often restricted. And who now limits the powers of that military dictatorial president? So we do not have our Traore at this moment, and we should not entertain the idea of having a dictator, even though there's a possibility we could get a benevolent one. I would, as myself, as James Mulamba, I would not take that risk, because democracy has delivered far much more for us. Ni vile tu tuko blind. Now we vote for our leaders. Kama ninyi mlichagua mwizi, hiyo ni shida yenu. Nyinyi ndio mlichagua. Leaders can be voted out. You have a choice. You have civic liberties and rights under this democracy. You did not have that in dictatorship. You remember the detention without trial and torture. They appear to be back. But for a brief period during the Kibaki's presidency, I think we had a reprieve of, and we had a real taste of what democracy could be for this country. I wish Uhuru had taken over from where Kibaki left. He seemed to have taken us back to the Moi regime, given that in his government there were excesses, corruption, extrajudicial killings, detentions without trial. I don't have to mention the Rivayala, the Kianjakoma brothers, and so on. And given that in a democracy we have the freedom to choose and protection of the freedom of speech, association, movement, and that as citizens we have a say in decision making, in public participation, and so on, I think we should stick with democracy. We should be asking ourselves then, how do we make this version of our democracy better? And do we have to benchmark from the West, or can we curate our own version of democracy? Because we've gotten to the point where Kenya is not learning on how to run its democracy from the West. Kenya now is currently exploring lessons on how to defend its democracy, because democracy must be protected and it must be defended. That's the conversation I would want us to have. How do we better defend our democracy? How do we better protect our democracy? How do we ring fence it? How do we make it better? Because as James, I wouldn't want to have dictatorship in this country. Because I've seen how bad dictators could misgovern, misrule, and there's almost no recourse for their misdeeds.
So tusiende parliamentary way, tusiende dictatorship way, to back it a democracy.
We build our democracy.
How do we do that in this day and age?
We're actually doing it. It's just that one doesn't see it, but we are doing it. You know,
the reason I'm asking this is because when we talk about democracy, when we talk about us having the freedoms and the liberties that he was describing here, it looks like every time we want to exercise some of these liberties and these democracies, things seem to go south.
Actually, you're talking about the abductions, and you're talking about the strong arm tactics,
the goonism
that the government
that we
uses.
see in political gatherings.
Yes, but does the push for these expressions, do they diminish? The answer is no. You see, it's not understood with clarity that change is always resisted. Because those who prefer the status quo benefit from it. And what they see is the loss of benefit. They don't seem to understand that there's even greater benefit when you achieve what it is that is being fought for. For instance, if we hold people who are criminals to account, we hold people who are corrupt to account, it means the resources then go to what it is intended for. And then it means the likelihood that the economies will grow is that much higher. When those who are the poorest in our society can eke a living and reduce poverty, you will automatically reduce crime. You may not think so, but that is exactly what you will do. Because somebody knows that they can wake up in the morning and there's something that they can do that will give them a living. If there is no hope, criminal activities just shoot up, because these young people cannot see what they're going to do with themselves, and they need to live. And they're growing older by the day. And it's bleak, and it's bleak, and it's bleak. What do you think their minds will go to? Someone introduces you to something that is against the law. You you will not look at it as a criminal offense. You will look at it as eking a living.
Yes, that's Goonism for you for a fact.
Yeah. I mean, look, how is it possible that every weekend, it's like every weekend we have to report someone has been killed somewhere or someone has been beaten somewhere in a public rally that a politician or politicians were holding, or there are disruptions, and you ask yourself, why didn't we hear of these disruptions, some 2 years ago?
Oh, they were there.
People would gather, no one would die.
They were there.
Watu watakwenda nyumbani.
Let me start this from a different care.
Okay.
The old fight was for the flag, that is the 1963 fight. And the years that precluded that. The new fight is for a better country, and that fight should not stop, must never stop. The first fight had the likes of Dedan Kimathi, Field Marshal Muthoni, Waruyu Itote, the Mau Mau fighters, and the pro-people legislators who were the likes of Eliud Madhu and the rest who are fighting through Legco and through the Lancaster House meetings to have a better country not to have independence for this country. Now we are fighting for a better country. See, the challenge is elections alone cannot make a country democratic. Every country that votes is not automatically free, because voting does not guarantee freedom. That freedom, that democracy we want, has to be fought for by the people. Every day they have to choose to rise, to wake up and fight. And that will never stop unless we want dictatorship, where you don't have to fight.
Yeah.
You guys have to sit down. You guys have to obey every rule. You guys have to pay punitive taxes. You guys will be slaughtered. You guys will be taken in for slaves, and you will have no recourse. So if we choose democracy, we will fight to the end, since when you're born to the last day. You will get a reprieve when you have good leaders in power. But when you have bad ones, you'll have to fight. See, democracy is a call to inconvenience. It is the mosquito in your room at 3 a.m., the one that keeps you awake. That disturbance, that nuisance, that is what democracy is. But we would enjoy that. We are better off with democracy than with dictatorship, but we have to choose to fight for this democracy. And we cannot relegate this fight to some other people, some other time, or some other place. It has to be Kenya, it has to be now, and it has to be you.
Thank you so much, James. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show. Give us your parting shots. That sounded like a parting shot, like the last word, but give us your parting shot as far as protecting democracy is concerned.
Oh, that was short.
This is what happens when you're having a good time, James.
Let's say, to me, if you would ask me if we are winning with democracy, I would say this is not my parting shot. I'll start with this, then get to my parting shot.
Go ahead.
Democracy has been redefined in this country, and we can see the wins that we've gotten out of democracy in that we've pushed for citizen public participation, we've pushed for equal justice, we've pushed for a respect to constitutional limits, we've pushed for and practiced the right to peaceful assembly and demonstration, we've pushed for independence of institutions, we've pushed for accountability and for access to information, including opaque contracts that are signed by the government on our behalf. And we need to continue fighting. In my conclusion, I would say, democracy is never a finished product. It is a daily, messy, exhausting negotiation between the government and the governed. As a citizen, you have to take up arms and fight for the country you want. You have to register as a voter. You have to vote. And you have to hold leaders to account. Do not delegate your decision-making to some other people, some other time, and some other place, because that will not deliver the country that you want.
All right. There you have it, folks. James, tutakuita tena na tukikuita uje na uje mapema. All right, folks, this is where we come to an end. Thank you so much. I'll be coming back here tonight at 7 p.m. I shall be with Hanifa Adan, where we shall be looking at what has happened in the last couple of days. So why don't you join us at that particular time? But there's music coming your way, and then Retro Box ya kina Rania na Karaoke Thigi watakuwa hapa. Lady Martha will be coming in at 3 p.m. and yeah, like I said, 7 p.m. ni wakati wangu na Hanifa, kwa hivyo tupatane hiyo masaa.